Kenobi. Obi-Wan! Kenobi!
Welcome to the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you.
Looky, Senator. Decent Jedi arriving.
Let's make this our best show ever.
I will sign no treaty, Senator.
I am the Senate.
This is the way.
So, hello Star Wars fans, and welcome to the second episode in June 2022 of the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This episode was recorded Sunday the 26th of June 2022 using the powerful diode of the Force that is Microsoft and Skype. My name is Stephen, the Chancellor of the Senate, and also the only Brit, as we all get together to talk about Star Wars. For roughly the next 2-ish hours, you'll get to listen to only positive Star Wars chat, where we can enjoy whatever Star Wars is served up to us and have fun along the way. And this episode is brought to you by Owen Lars and Baru White Sun Lars.
Lou, tell your uncle if he gets a translator, be sure to...
Prevent destruction.
Who knew that these moisture farmers and a love of blue milk could pew-pew like they did when the former Inquisitor Reaver came knocking at the door? Baru got the guns from behind the pot plant and hidden down behind the drain pipe, and they defended Luke that there's no tomorrow. So, in honour of Owen and Baru Lars, this episode is for them. Also, before we get going proper, as ever, every episode it's time to hear a quick word from our sponsors.
517 to scanner control. 517 to scanner control.
And thank you for the sponsors. They are great. We could not do it without you. Actually, we do it without you, but that's beside the point. So, whereas I'm the only one over in the UK, I am joined as ever each month by positive friends across the pond in the United States of America. And on this episode, we have Ryan.
Hello there.
Ricky.
Hello.
Josh.
TK421, why aren't you at your post? TK421, do you copy?
Well, that went well. Marie.
Hi.
And Ron.
Greetings and salutations, fellow senators and chancellor.
I'd just like to let everyone know Josh is here, if maybe in Force Ghost spirit at the moment, but he is here.
He's knocking on his.
He will come when we are ready.
Yeah,
he will come when we are ready.
Exactly. So, on this month's show, we are going to primarily be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes, hopefully nobody's missed it. There will be spoilers ahead, of course. So, if you haven't watched any of the 6 episodes, well, you might as well turn off now.
Well, you already spoiled part of it, Steve.
Oh, I did, didn't I? But
yeah, are
okay.
brought to you by.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that bit. Yeah, so basically, I wouldn't just get yourself off the internet if you haven't watched all the 6 episodes now. You would have been.
Yeah, you don't have to. Just listen to the show.
Exactly. So as ever, we're going to go around the table. We'll try to go around as quickly as we can, and so we can get to giving a good Kenobi a good rinse and blow dry and get talking on that. So Ryan, Star Wars: The Last 30 Days for you.
Oh, me? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I've been posting a lot of it on our PSW Facebook page for the people who join there. But yeah, I've been posting a lot of it there. But in the past week, I guess, that's not posted there. I've been going through the 2017 Vader comics because they have the Inquisitors, and I finished it the other day, and that series is just probably the best Star Wars comics in recent runs that they've had. So just fantastic stories for anybody who's looking for more Inquisitors to read or more Vader, which seems like it definitely takes place before Kenobi. I'd recommend anyone check your local library, your digital library, or go out and just buy it because it's such a good story. Go ahead and read that.
That's the main Marvel run, right?
Yeah, main Marvel 2017 Vader run. So that, and I started Stories of the Jedi and Sith. So not the new one that comes out this week, but the one that came out, I guess, at the beginning of June, you can call it. I just started that one, where it's a bunch of anthology stories. Like the first story was about the High Republic for like 30 pages. So it was good. It's a good book. So I'll be starting that, and I should have it finished by next Senate.
Yes, I saw that. That's sort of gone slightly under my radar, and I saw it and I thought, well, I ain't going to start it now because in 2 days' time I've got to start on the Secrets of the Sith. So I'm going to leave that until after. I'm going to leave it until after that. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to wait till the weekend to buy it because that's a physical purchase for me. I rank them, digital, but it's such a good book. I'm excited for it. It's a physical purchase. So I'll wait till next week.
Okay, Ricky.
I've been on an audiobook run too myself. Yeah, so I did listen to Brotherhood. I finished that whole thing, which was really good. So that was that's the Anakin and Obi-Wan book, which was kind of tied nicely into the show. And then also I read, after that, I listened to Master and Apprentice, which was the Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan book. So that one was actually added to it too. So so those were both pretty interesting. But I did like Brotherhood a lot better. But it's just good to get some, get back in that era and all that stuff and get some little bit of backstory. And then I have been watching all the prequels. I did all that stuff. And then I'm watching Kenobi. And I don't know if I've gotten if I've bought anything lately. I haven't really seen anything in the stores worthy of purchasing. But I did get a Fennec. I don't know if I said that last month. But she's a pretty cool figure that I found. Playing Star Wars Lego still, slowly getting through that. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. I just spent a lot of time trying to get through Brotherhood and Master and Apprentice. So those are just some prequel goodness that I've been going through, and of course talking to everybody on Twitter and online and all that stuff, and in the group. So been pretty good. So that, and trying to watch all the celebration stuff, even though I couldn't watch day 4 because Star Wars took it down off YouTube. So hopefully, hint they put it back up. So I tweeted at them, but I got no response yet.
So
that's weird. I find it weird they take it.
Oh yeah. You said that.
Yeah, and that was like the Bad Batch stuff, I think, that day. So yeah, I mean, I watched all the trailers and everything, but yeah,
somebody's probably ripped them and put them somewhere.
Yeah, it was up for some point in time, right?
Yeah, and then it got sent to private as soon as I was going to watch it. So
yeah, I don't think I've seen day 4 either. Was there anything of significance, like they all dead type of thing that they would take it down?
I don't know. But okay. I mean, the other celebration stuff was fun to watch. I just enjoyed sitting and watching all the corniness and seeing all the things walking around and watching the trailers and all that. So it was fun watching that, but I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get to finish it. So one day I'll find it.
So quick question on the Apprentice book. Actually, we should have nailed you on for a quick 10-minute review.
We can do that. Actually.
Do it next time, right? Yeah. Just because I said this before in elsewhere. I read somewhere that Obi-Wan basically hates Qui-Gon. So
yeah, I read it from me. I've been saying that for a long time.
So how was it? What's their relationship like in the book?
They were not very compatible because basically like Qui-Gon was he wasn't really by the book. He kind of defied the council and all that stuff, and then Obi-Wan kept questioning all his actions all the time, so they kind of butted heads on that. But is
that Master and Apprentice you're talking about, or Brotherhood?
Master and Apprentice.
Okay.
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
I just make sure. Well, I don't know when Brotherhood takes place. They're both. He's still the Master. I don't know if it's after Master Apprentice or before. What do you think?
No, Brotherhood is him when he has when Anakin gets knighted. So it's right after episode 2.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got that confused then. My bad.
No, this one's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's story. So yeah, basically they were. It's Qui-Gon is contemplating if he should still keep being his master because he doesn't think he's a good fit for Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's not getting anything from him, and then Obi-Wan thinks he's a bad apprentice, so they're kind of miscommunication with each other, but in the end, of course, it works out. But
it must work out because he's really excited to see his Force Ghosts in Kenobi series. So
yeah, it was really cool.
Must have kissed and made up by them.
Spoiler again.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just gonna put it. That's gonna be the intro as the spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not crazy. There is a book coming out in July called Padawan, which is Obi and Qui-Gon together. So I'm not crazy. I didn't confuse it that much. So just for people wondering, for Master and Apprentice is almost like a good lead in to the Padawan book coming out in July.
Was that afterwards?
I don't know the timeline of that one. I just know it's Obi and Qui-Gon again.
But the
Yeah, 'cause
book's,
at the point in Master
the
Apprentice-
book's title is Padawan.
Yep, and it's Obi as a Padawan, Qui-Gon as
It's
a master.
Obi, yeah, well, perfect timing then for everything that's going on or whatever. That should be a very interesting book.
Yeah, because this book, Master Apprentice,
Can't wait
takes
to
place
hear all
like
about it.
it takes place 10 years into Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's apprenticeship master relationship. So they've been for 10 years, and Obi-Wan's supposed to be like 17 in the Master Apprentice. I think he was supposed to be like 25 or something in episode 1, right? 25, 26.
I'm not sure. I always wondered that. He seemed young.
Yeah.
Like he
No,
just
I looked it up, but he was supposed to be like mid-20s, so he was kind of an older Padawan.
That's what I thought they got usually knighted in their low 20s. Anakin was knighted at 21.
Yeah, but that was like
It's
a
not
wartime thing. They just
It's not
started
an
like
age thing, though, right? It's a qualifications. He's ready for the trials type of deal.
Yeah, but usually you're also ready to do it. You train for 10 or 12 years. So you're like, oh, you're ready to do it now.
Yeah, and I don't think Anakin even did the trials. They just knighted him because he lost the hand. So.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Very careless. Okay, right. Marie.
Well, I have a box that I got out of my storage that happens to be full of Star Wars stuff that I've been sorting through. So I've been going through that, seeing about putting it up for sale or
Don't tell Ron.
Seeing what I want to keep. There's not a whole lot of stuff, and there's nothing really. I mean, it's like Pez dispensers and an old mug and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool because I had forgotten I actually had this stuff. I have been watching Kenobi. I have been watching Revenge of the Sith over and over and over because it's actually my favorite out of all the trilogies. I've been watching the Kenobi finale over and over. I've been watching Kenobi over and over. And I read the novelization of Revenge of the Sith pretty recently. And I'm going to be starting on Brotherhood soon. So there is that. Other than that, that's pretty much it. But it's been kind of packed in terms of like Star Wars viewing experiences.
It's pretty amazing considering I hear you can't even stand Kenobi. So I mean it's pretty amazing. Joking. I know he's your favourite.
Yes.
Yes. Just slightly. Right out the number one. Okay. Right. All right. Ronbot.
Meg, good morning. Greetings, everyone. So my bit of Star Wars is a bit, obviously, Kenobi, and been a bit more corporeal, as I'm going to post some pictures here in the chat. That is my yearly, somewhere we go on vacation, that I did some sand sculpture. That's about the only thing I got for this past month or whatever. But my traditional sandcastle is always obviously something Star Wars related. And my traditional dad joke that goes year in and year out and continues to get the eye rolls that what I built when I ask my nephew, and he happily and proudly says that I built an X-Wing, and I let him know that I built a TIE fighter. And when he was little, he didn't quite get it. Now, yeah, that's thank you. That's what I go for. Yeah, the groan. So yeah, that's about all I got. That and obviously watching and rewatching and enjoying the heck out of Kenobi. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to get into it.
It's pretty good for a nobody listening.
People just looking at you crazy, like, what is that man building?
I had a couple of kids come by and they're like, oh, I know what, I recognize it, and just I'm feeding them things. I'm like, the guy on the dome on top. He's like, no. I'm like, he has a friend C-3PO. And it's like, no. And it's like, what? I just expect to know what it is, but the kid that walked by might have been, he was under 10, I'm sure. So if he hasn't seen it, he hasn't seen it. I expect everyone to know what the heck that is, as crudely and as poorly done as it is. I'm sorry for those listening, but I posted some pictures of
I don't think that's the
terrible
scale.
It is for a TIE fighter. Yeah, no, you can see some of the later photos. I was rushing because it was quick because the tide was coming in.
Okay.
And I chose to build it, so eventually they looked to be crashed.
You left the ladder off, Ron. There's no ladder.
They washed it. Yeah, I think R2's a little big.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we had fun. Always a fun time building that.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. And Josh.
Greetings, everyone. Can you hear me? You got me?
Yeah, we got you, Josh.
Yeah, we got you.
Yes. Sorry about that. The Empire was tapping into my signal, so I had to duck out and hide for a minute. So
Yeah, you're knocking on your helmet like you're the best communicator.
Right.
Communicator, yeah.
TK421.
Right. Exactly. But for me, no, Star Wars is my life right now, basically, especially with Obi-Wan out. So been watching a lot of Obi-Wan. Still rewatching the Clone Wars again. Still playing Fallen Order again. I am reading the last Thrawn novel that came out recently. I'm almost through it. It's a long one, so it's taking a little bit of time, but I'm almost there. And as far as purchases, I got some new Funko Pops that came in recently, so I was very excited about that.
Oh yeah, those were really good looking. Those were good.
Yeah, I love
the
nice.
artist ones.
When you get a pre-order that you forgot about, those are my favorite days. So I love them. They're really nice. I got to find a special spot to put them up. So.
Are those the favorite days, or how about when you get the pre-order and then you get the other order of the pre-order because you forgot the pre-order that you pre-ordered the first time, and you found that the pre-order was still available, and you're like, oh, I better get in on this before it stops, and then you end up with two of them going, oh, whoops. I have
I'm sure there's more to
that.
follow. So.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, where is that sail barge at the moment we're on?
He's got two now, apparently.
Yeah, no, that one I did not accidentally order two of. Boy, howdy, wished I would have. Still in the same spot, Stephen.
Literally sitting on a gold mine there.
I'll have it done by Kenobi season 2.
It's probably worth more staying in the box. That's unfortunate.
There is that temptation that it is easily flipped and money gain. The gains could be.
Ron's house looks like the Indiana Jones at the end when they have the big cargo shipment container.
The house not so much, but the basement does.
Fantastic. Okay, right. Thank you very much, everybody. We shall move on as we have, just do a quick sum of my fingers, 4 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi to talk about. Yes, on the previous episode of this podcast, we did discuss episodes 1 and 2, which means we have episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6 to go through. So, we were going back in time now to episode 3, when anybody can remember it. Not Revenge of the Sith, by the way. Episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I have kind of slightly made it slightly more concise than what Wikipedia gives us. So in episode 3, on the fortress in Mustafar, Vader instructs Reva to find Kenobi, promising to promote her to Grand Inquisitor, but she succeeds. And then we have Kenobi and Leia's transport land on the mining planet of Mapuzo, and they take a ride on the Imperial transport with everybody's Maul and friend Freck. It gets stopped at a checkpoint. There's a pew 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 with quite a few stormtroopers, and then we get the former Imperial officer Tana, who is a member of what is known as the Path, an underground network that hides dissidents and outlaws hunted by the Empire. At least that's what it said on Wikipedia. I thought they were just helping Jedi, but apparently they do a bit more than that. Yeah, she helps everyone and Leia, but at that same time, the Vader and the Inquisitors arrive and they begin to harm innocent bystanders to lure out Kenobi. So Kenobi sends Leia and Tana ahead, but Reva finds the distraction and is confronted by Vader in what I assume was a mining area. I assume it was. And then we get Vader overpowering Kenobi, doing the old force choke, burning him in fire, leaving him in pain. Tana comes to save Kenobi at the end, and Leia is captured by Reva. And I think that's mostly what happened in that
That's
episode.
a weird story.
Yes. I just summarised up a little bit. So I got a few bits here, and I just put pew 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 in just to skip over some of the more nuanced
action scene
aspects of it. Yeah, exactly. So episode 3, folks. How should we do this? Should we go around, or does people want to jump in with any thoughts on episode 3 there?
Let's just go for it.
Right, go for it. Speak. Forever speak, or forever I'll hold thou peace, whatever it is.
I like how like Obi-Wan was like still trying to get into the rhythm of being on a mission, and he like slips up and calls her Leia, and she like if you watch that part over again, like Leia's like looking like, why did you say that? She's like talking to her.
Yeah, she's used to lying, being in politics, and so she has all these lies. She's like, I've been in politics my whole life. I can lie out my nose, and then he slips up, just eye faces, like, oh my gosh. But then it made for a heartwarming moment. It led to that. So that's touched the feels there.
The stormtroopers were looking for a man and a child. They didn't know that they were looking for Did they know they were looking for?
I don't think they knew they were
later?
looking for a man and a child. They just were looking at the time looking for a Jedi.
Yeah.
They didn't quite have all the particulars or whatever. But when that happened, that first time it happened, I mean, you know it now. You know it's coming. But that first time it happened was really an moment. It was. It really, you know the fate of Obi-Wan, so he's going to get out of it, kind of thing. But it really was like, oh, all right, he's in trouble now. How the heck is he getting out of this type of thing? It was just a clever little piece of dialogue, just something simple, whatever, but so beautifully well done. How they walked it back and got out of it.
You say that, and then when that scene happened, I was like, oh no, but yeah, they do get out of it. So that's weird. Yeah, I just suspended belief or forgot like what happens next because I was like, oh no, like they're gonna get caught.
Yeah,
like,
no, this series has done very well to put me on the edge of the seat.
Yeah, he still could have got captured and then just escaped. It could have been anything.
And then when he gets on the transport and sees the sees the insignia flag for Freck's, allegiance to the Empire or whatever. That was a great ominous moment of sorts. So to
Imperial
speak.
spies are everywhere.
Oh, they all have been a good episode.
And it's funny, he's a mole. Like,
he's literally
it's kind of like a plate on it all.
Yep.
Like,
and that was voiced by Zach Braff, though.
Oh right.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I didn't even know he was a big, Star Wars fan.
Yeah, it's funny because from Scrubs, he plays, he's the lead, and then Donald Faison was Hype Faison in Resistance, so they both ended up in Star Wars. So that's pretty cool.
Sure. He helped to get some time. Was this the episode or the first part of getting Vader?
This is when he sees
everything.
But this was our first. Remember?
This was our first. Yeah, I know, but this was our as fans first actual viewing of Vader, and I kind of.
Well, no,
trying to remember.
We saw a little bit of him at the end of the second episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
Suited up and
floating in the tank.
Yeah, but I mean full on. Sorry, so full on Vader. When I say Vader, I think black suited Vader.
Yes, we see him at the start. I remember rightly. We see him at the start of the episode, sat on his throne, don't we, talking to Reba?
Yeah, and just Mustafar in his castle.
He gets up and looks at the window with binoculars, whatever, like that, to see what's going on. And then
I thought it was really great that they got him like all assembled, and this was like episode 3 of this show. And then similar to episode 3, the movie, how he got all assembled at the end.
I think there's some parallels there. I like it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yep.
I like this. Leia has so many good lines, so many precocious, so many just great things about her. And this was the one where they're on a transport and she does the "Are we there yet?" type of thing to Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't patience. He hasn't had kids or whatever. So but she does it. She doesn't say "Are we there yet?" but she says something that is a great line of banter back and forth between him and her, and wanting to go, hurry up, kind of thing.
Was this the one where he tells her he or she reminds him of somebody?
Yes.
There was a bit of debate.
She tells him.
Yeah. No, he tells her. You remind me of somebody. She was a leader.
Yeah.
And also, you can see him wanting to go on, wanting to dive into it, wanting to elaborate, but knowing that it's not going to serve her well, so it's not going to keep her, help her to be safe.
Which
Didn't
is like
she
the
ask
whole,
if he was like her father or something too, or something like that?
Yeah, I think on the transport she asked that, didn't she?
On the transport.
Yeah. And that's where the pain in his face is. Oh, Ewan does such a great job. Everybody did a great job in the series, but it just on his face, he so wants to tell her everything, so wants to let her know how great her parents were and everything, but he's just so crushed that he can't.
Yeah.
That's when in the final episode he changes. Yeah. That's why in the final episode when he actually does go listing the attributes of both father and mother to him, that's sort of like he's changed his mind a bit. Then he's going to say something.
Well, it's same as Luke. He can't tell him that. Oh, your father like murdered a bunch of people.
Yeah.
No, you don't tell a 10-year-old that, do you? Also, some of the laziest stormtroopers in the world, actually, because if you think about it, they didn't actually go very far on that transport, did it? Before they. All right, Frank, we're here now, Frank. Yeah, not.
Well, they were waiting on something, and it was late.
Yeah.
Still daylight.
And what kind of police work? What kind of police work is that? Like, we're looking for a Jedi. Are you a Jedi? No. Okay, move along. Like, you're good.
Like, I think these guys are so complacent, and they really haven't had nothing to do for the past 10 years. So they're
actually, that's actually a good point. So they not give them at least like a description of what to go. I mean, other than just telling them look for a Jedi. So they're going around looking for somebody who might be carrying a lightsaber that's lit, sort of thing, aren't they? Because how else are they going to recognise a Jedi from anybody else that's on the planet?
I think at this point in time, it wasn't. It just happened, so it wasn't a fully fleshed out sort of APB. It was just a rumor of, hey, what's going on. Oh, my buddy's stationed on wherever, and they're out hunting a Jedi, so we're on a hunt for a Jedi, whatever. We don't know anything yet, but eventually they're going to get information. Obviously, that's what it was. Planet, where they would have said, we got him right here. So
that was a different planet than the one where when she stabs Inquisitor and all that stuff. When they get on, so they flew on that transport and went to a different system.
Yeah. They go to the stripped planet. I think it's Mapuzo, I want to say. Yeah. This was the one that had gave me a real. I don't know if anyone's a Fifth Element fan or whatever, but when that transport's landing on this planet, the design of the ship, the music, there's just something about that really that scene gave me a real Fifth Element sort of vibe of some sort.
Yeah. My thing is, does the Empire never realize that these Jedi always wear the same robes all the time? I mean, how long has this been going on and they haven't picked up on it yet?
Yeah, we need other people in the robes, so you can't say that it's just find somebody in robes because everybody's wearing robes. So,
was the guy in the
a lot of people
episode wearing robes?
Tatooine was wearing. I mean, Owen wears
definitely
robes,
on
kinda.
Tatooine. But...
Well, true. Owen does have it, so there is some bit of that.
That's true. I just feel like they're always dressed the same, and they haven't ever picked up on this.
So we get the first confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader in this episode, with Prisoners watching on as Vader strolls down the street, snapping people's necks and
that was this one,
drawing them out of their buildings which don't have any windows in them. At least that one didn't, that he took them out of, and then drag it. What did he do to that other prisoner? Just drag them along, choking them at the same time on the ground. Was it? I was never quite sure exactly what he was doing.
Just being a big meanie. Yeah, I kind of remember him dragging somebody along, coming through there. But yeah, again, Ewan's portrayal and acting, just on his face, his read of, he realizes what's out there and what's truly now in front of him. He's seeing it for the first time, kind of thing, or whatever, and just like, go get her out of here. I'll just distract her, just whatever. The fear in his portrayal of moving around, the way they sort of cat and moused between the two of them.
You can just sense the dark side and the darkness,
Yeah, the what have you become? You made what? Oh, that just he sees Anakin basically. He sees him choking people, dragging people, snapping necks. Oh, that had to be brutal.
Yeah, that was vicious. Like, he just pulled a kid out of the house and broke his neck when he's like, "Dad, no!" Then he breaks the kid's neck, and I was like, "Oh my!" Like because for a long time I've been saying the comics have kind of watered down Vader. He's always like, "My Padme," so it's like
that can't.
We need, and it's a good story. It's character building, so it's great. And I always wanted, really be a Vader. So we got like the Rogue One scene, and then we got something like this where it's like, this is why people are afraid of the Emperor's enforcer. He just goes through, he kills people for no reason, and then the word spreads that it's like, don't mess with this guy.
You can't stop him,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of what Disney has been doing with Vader. I mean, all the way back to Rogue One. They've given us this revengeful, powerful, really bad guy that we've all wanted.
Scary.
So yeah.
And the comics,
all the hate.
The comics have made him a lot stronger too. So I mean, a lot of the times, everyone compares new stuff to the originals, and they just, of course, it's 40 years ago. They seem a little weaker compared to powers nowadays, especially what may appear later in the Kenobi series. So it's like, but the comics is like Vader falling in pits of lava and surviving underneath the ocean and crushing dams and flooding cities. So the comics definitely help flesh out Vader. So it's again,
it's not quite like Force Unleashed powerful, but it's close without not crossing that line where it's like, oh, this guy could just bring down the moon or something,
I just wish people would stop using Force Unleashed as like the epitome of what powers can be. I'm like, no, it's a video game. We want to do stuff like that. But if every Jedi could crush a ATST with their hands, it's almost lore breaking. Why don't you just do that before? Well, there's
exactly. Yep.
Power, so
there has to be some manner of discernibility into it for the video game and the levels and the next level that you're going to and a boss fight and all that. Sure, you need that, but not in the storytelling mythos that is the Star Wars story on screen.
Yeah, video games have their own kind of it's not like you can have Obi-Wan like, give me a stem, and then he like heals himself, and then he continues playing. So
there was a sort
of... Well, they did that, didn't they? In Boba Fett, didn't someone take a stem or something? I remember that was one of the talkbacks.
I think maybe there was, yeah. but not constant.
The Vader Obi-Wan confrontation, or whatever. It was an interesting. I didn't, I wonder how it's going to go. Again, on the edge of my seat. If I just stop and think about it, I'm like, why am I, nervously watching this? Because I know Obi-Wan survived. I know the players make it out of it. If you really take yourself out of it, it's not a fun. There's not much to it. But it was engrossed by the story that's in front of me. And find myself on the edge of the seat of Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan's obviously outmatched. He hasn't been with the Force for very long at this point. He just not that he's cut himself off, but it's atrophied to some extent or whatever. It's like and Vader's not Vader's not out to kill him. That was the surprise. That was the unique wrinkle that I really appreciated, that he was out to make him suffer. He was out to make him have the pain. He was out to make him live with what he had become, what he's done, and what he's about to do to him, versus just dispatching him, because he could have easily just dispatched him at this point. To some extent, but to burn him
in Vader's mind, like a quick death would, like the way he snapped that person's neck, like that's like in his eyes, that's mercy. Like he wanted. Obi-Wan
he wanted him to suffer, because as he's suffered, he's had to live with the pain, the guilt, everything, the my Padme sort of moments, just the what have I become, all the sort of stuff that's gone into it, that to sort of force burn, but to force grab and then throw him into the fires. Stephen, you had asked if it was a mining plan. I seem to recall that yes. What got spilled out on the ground was what they were mining for, that is some sort of fuel or some sort of something that has the burning capabilities like that, like a long, slow burn or whatever. So what got
There's
spilled?
Big conveyor belts everywhere too.
What being
you see
mines?
The big conveyor belts sticking up behind all the mounds
of dirt.
Could
be for like a forge or something,
I forget how it comes out. Go ahead.
I like the fact that everyone knows that Obi-Wan's not going to die, but he took some beatings. Now when you see the original trilogy and New Hope, you're like, he's full of scars underneath those robes because of previous battles, because he's burned. And I just personally like to think those are permanent burns. We don't see them. They're all under the robes type stuff. And he wasn't burned in the face. So it's not lore breaking. But now you think what could be under his robes and all the beatings or scars that he's taken or battles that he's been in. And his whole one side could be kind of all burned up. So that I like to say I don't like to think that was cured by Bacta. He is permanently scarred, and he has something to remember Vader by.
It was very, very helpful for A New Hope as to why he's not, bouncing or flitting around. Obviously, there's an age factor too. I was just impressed with it, because Obi-Wan, to me, and all that we've seen, I've always sort of touted to my kids and sort of built him up in my mind, their mind, anybody's mind, that Obi-Wan's the man, because he's never taken a saber hit. He's never been injured. He does, he's got all his limbs. So now to finally see that he has been sort of injured in battle, if you will. He didn't take any hits in Clone Wars or anything. He was never in trouble. Like Anakin had various things, or he was close to death type of things or something in Clone Wars. But Obi-Wan had always been the man, and just was so in tune with the Force that he never took any damage, I guess, if you will, in a gaming vernacular, that to see him take damage at the hands of Anakin, Vader kind of thing, whatever, was just a nice wrapping, full, helping to make the character arc that is Obi-Wan just so complete and so full, because like you say, he now has this full body scar. I wondered, thinking about it, one day I asked the panel, do we think, is that Obi-Wan's first foray into a Bacta tank? Do we think he's ever, again, back to my point of he's never really taken damage. Do we think Obi-Wan's ever been in a Bacta tank before? To me, I think that's his first time ever.
I wonder. Because I know he did get hurt a few times in Clone Wars, like when he was the slave, and then when, a couple other times. I wonder if he ever did.
I don't think have to be at some point. I mean, it's like taking an aspirin to them. Back patches and all that stuff.
He panics and comes out of it quick. Now, granted, he's worried about Leia, wondering where they are. He just was with Vader. He's like, are we safe? All that sort of stuff, whatever. Because she's like, you got to stay in there and get healed up, whatever. But it was a great moment, like I say, to add to A New Hope Ben, that is, and even Vader, because Vader takes, spoiler alert, but Vader takes some damage that makes the two of them square off in the Death Star in A New Hope in the manner that they do, where everybody used to sort of complain about, why aren't they bouncing around, flitting around? It was just age at that point is all we had to go on. But there was more to the story, and sure enough, they're both not the same spry.
This
Jedi
is like totally like Vader just playing with his food, kind of thing, and I do like that he, in his mind, I think he blames Obi-Wan for him not killing him. So now he has to sit there and suffer in the suit, and he's scarred, and
Yeah, I subscribe to that theory as well. That he's mad at Obi-Wan for not dispatching of him, making him have to suffer through and deal with the pain and deal with the dark side.
So in Vader's mind, that's worse than keeping him burnt, hurting him and keeping him alive. That's worse than him just like, I'm gonna off you, So.
Oh yeah, because
so
they have to live with his thoughts of Padme.
Yeah.
So did Obi-Wan think that Anakin was dead? I mean, I can easily see that he was in Tatooine and he's cut off from any news. He just chops meat and then watches over Luke. So it's like, and there was the surprise kind of in the episode where it's like Anakin's alive. Well, does he think that? I mean, maybe he thought that he did kill Anakin. He just left him there to die.
He left him for dead. Not actually. Well, I mean, he would have been the sole purpose of him dying, but he didn't actually do the killing blow.
He didn't want to. Yeah, he didn't want the blow, but he's like, I can't. Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, he had no idea to think that Palpatine was going to sense that Vader was in danger and come and rescue him, because that's the only reason why
he left him there to die.
Yeah, he left.
Right.
Him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The killing blow wasn't going. That was Anakin. It was just it was hard enough for what he had to do. He had to take Master Yoda's the boy you knew is gone. He is type of thing in that fight, because he says I can't kill him. So he left him there to die.
And that's kind of like
he does find out when does he find out he's alive? And that must be Reva. I think the previous episode or the previous part is where he truly finds out that yes, he is in fact.
And then he tells Luke, Luke's like, I can't kill him. He's my father. He's like, well, the Emperor's already won. Because he knows that he didn't do that with Anakin, so he allowed all this other bad stuff to happen by not doing that. So
that's a good point.
So if Luke's saying like I can't do it, then he's like, well then. It's just nothing's gonna. He's won then. There's no way to defeat him.
And then he does it again.
He has to do what he couldn't. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Time is moving onwards, and
How does that one end? What's the last of that one?
Reva captures Leia.
Oh, that's right.
After she's coming out of that cave that had all the Jedi. Anybody recognize any of the Jedi names besides Quinlan Voss that they said, or did they say anybody else's name?
I
only recognize Quinlan.
Yeah. And you see the High Republic symbol there on the wall, which is pretty cool.
And obviously that wasn't just a tunnel. It wasn't from point A to point B. It had some, because even the lady that rescues Obi-Wan, she ended up somewhere else. So there was a bit of a maze or a bit of a
path. It's like a labyrinth in there.
Labyrinth, thank you. Yep, on to the next episode.
Yes. Okay, so episode 4 is based on the Fortress Inquisitoris episode. After Kenobi and Tana arrive at the path vicinity on Jabin, and so we've got Leia being interrogated for details on the path by Reva at Fortress Inquisitoris, and then Kenobi and Tana infiltrating the fortress to rescue Leia. Obi-Wan swimming in down the bottom, and Tana just walking in as she does. And then along the way, Kenobi discusses a trophy vault filled with the preserved corpses of Jedi who had been captured and killed, or killed and then captured, whatever one will say it. And then it's basically rescuing Leia, getting her out, pew, 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 on the landing platform as this Broken and his other guys provide some cover for the trio to escape. And we get Tana blowing up one of the other speeders and stuff with that, whatever it was, a big battery or bomb sort of thing. Then we get angry Vader storming in and threatening to kill Reva. And then she says, but I planted a tracker in Leia's companion droid, Lola. As is all part of my master plan, and that kind of stuff. So it's basically Fortress Inquisitoris, episode 4. And that big, for me, the big OMG HSEOF bits were the trophy vault of Jedi corpses, really, which I was not expecting. But who wants to dive in on this one for Swim?
Was Fortress Inquisitoris some reason I thought that was a fan-made thing, or
no,
we should
have
came up with
Order.
it? But, is that where it comes from?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
There's a similar scene in Fallen Order too, with the
you get to run
tunnel
around
collapsing underwater and everything. So.
Floating through.
But it's called, or is this thing in Fallen Order?
Yeah.
This fortress? Okay. Okay. So that's where that comes from. I've heard that bandied about a number of times, and just like, what? Who? How did that get run with?
Yeah, you blow a hole in it, and you go in there, you swim around, and then you shoot, and you're fighting stormtroopers and stuff in there.
Man, I'm going to be a fisherman on that planet. That ocean is teeming with wildlife, sea life. Boy, there's all kinds of things caught.
And my question was Obi-Wan just chilling down there underwater, waiting for Tala to get to the control center the whole time? Like,
oh, that's a good point. Yeah, how did he get?
He was like, "I'll just wait here," you know.
Yeah, he must have swum quite a distance.
Well, he swam to
the whole
Gunga
planet's
City,
like
so
water, right? So how long has he been under there? So
I was presumably he jumped off the back of her shuttle, whatever she had, I suppose, and then swam the rest of it.
Yeah.
Did he have a rebreather? Did he pull that out?
Yeah, he had a rebreather.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh,
Did
you're
he also
putting
have
a
and a
hair
hairdryer too. I remember Steven.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he also have a change of clothes? Yeah.
Josh, when on Fallen Order, because I know you're playing it, like
Yeah.
when you get there, do you go from the ship and jump down, or did he land somewhere?
I'm not right there yet, but from what I remember, you do jump down into the water, kind of like Kashyyyk.
Because there's nothing to land on.
To Kashyyyk, because there's really nothing there to land on. But
it's like
I said, it's been a while since I played it the first time, and I'm not quite there yet the second time. So, but I just remember that scene, and then, well, I'm not going to give away the end of that sequence, but
go ahead. This was the episode. This was the part where Leia's like, "All right, you know what? You're right. We're all on the same team. I'll tell you where they are, but I want to tell my dad first because we're all on the same team, right?" And Rey was just like, "Oh, you little stinky!" They're just such a great Leia.
Well, and even before that, when she's like trying to get in her head, and she's like, "What is this? A staring contest?"
Oh yeah, the staring contest line.
Oh, that's great.
Such great dialogue for the princess we all know.
You know, and I'm watching this, like every line she does, I can see like adult Leia in New Hope saying all these lines. You know, like picture Carrie Fisher.
You know, that's going to be truly a loss. But Carrie would, I think I'm going to project for somebody I don't even know other than from on screen. But what you know of Carrie, I think she would absolutely have loved this girl and the portrayal of the strong, confident Leia, the character that she's been known for all these years. I think she would have just adored what we're watching right now. But yeah, such a good bit of, and the Kenobi. This is the scene with Kenobi in the dark, freeing her with the stormtroopers. Oh, I got fist pumps in the air for that. I was like, yeah, come on, let's go, cool. Kenobi.
I swear, in this show, the lightsaber brightness has been cranked to 11 because the previous episode they were kind of fighting in the dark. And this episode has, lighting sabers in the dark. It's just visually stunning to see all that stuff. This is a fantastic looking series.
I've seen some carrying on about how it's, complaining, if you will, that's not like the other. It's just like, that's the stylized aspect for this series. Just enjoy it. Cause it is very bright. It is very, like you say, in the dark and glowing on their faces and the surroundings and all, but it works well. Cause to me, it's all foreshadowing. Cause that last episode,
every time Vader shows up with his saber, it's like, it's reflective. Like it looks awesome. Like that. It's just
all in his helmet and stuff. Lighting guy had some fun.
Brian, I know we were talking about how I was complaining about it being grainy. I think it is my brightness on my TV being too high because I rewatched that scene and Obi-Wan just straight up disappears. So I think I had it so bright the editing I could see that instead of him running around you can just see he disappears and then his appears.
Yeah, you might need to recalibrate your TV.
Yeah. No, that scene was amazing.
I'll do that because I'm a videophile and have mine calibrated for good stuff or whatever. But yeah, if it's in torch mode, as they call it, or demonstration mode in the stores and stuff like that or whatever, if you haven't one of those canned modes, there probably is some.
Yeah,
probably isn't working well, and that might be true of Solo as well. I know so many people go on about Solo. It's just like, dude, it's fine on my TV. So there could be something to that.
Yeah, don't watch it with all your windows open in the middle of the day. Like, I literally turned off the light when I was like, okay, I need to feel this. I shut all the lights off because I was like, yeah, here we go.
Obi-Wan. This was Obi-Wan's getting back into it because he had to use the Force to hold back the water. I like that. The breaking glass kind of thing.
That scene was full of so much good imagery. The green and blue. It was like the whole like he's coming into his powers with the Force again. He's like relearning.
Exactly.
Well, not really relearning, but like rediscovering what and who he really is. There was
muscle
so much,
memory,
and the imagery just kind of like drew on that, So I was the cinematography in this entire show has been incredible, but that was like one of the most incredible scenes to me.
I wish I had. This was the part. I wish I had my kids were little. I want to go to Celebration and cosplay as Obi-Wan with in a trench coat or whatever as an Imperial dude. With my kid, peeking out from under.
You're gonna have to borrow a kid.
such a silly way to
So
be
ridiculous.
But why would it was ridiculous. But then again, why would anybody in that facility be like looking for something odd, out of place? But yeah, it was very Little Rascals, very Three
And I'm
Stooges
sure nobody
type
knew
of
she was
with
even
that.
there.
Yeah, and I don't think the klaxons have sounded yet in terms of a prisoner alert or whatever. But just see that imagery, like you say, is a bit ridiculous. But yeah, I can't wait to see the cosplay of some dad doing that.
Let's not forget the classic Star Wars line, I can't see a thing in this helmet. So like, you got all these people just barely because I think it was an officer that discovered him type of thing. So
Yeah,
all these people with the helmets, you can't see nothing.
Was it the same guy that like was questioning Tala in the first place?
No, I don't think so. That was miles away. Miles away. It's completely on the other side of the station, wasn't it?
Yeah, speaking of the helmets, like I saw people complaining about how in Tala was her name, right? The lady.
Tala.
When she like hits the stormtroopers' helmets, I thought that was such like a smart move, and like I thought that was like one of the coolest parts because like that's gonna like totally disrupt anybody. They got a helmet on, you're gonna smack them right in the middle of the head, and they're not gonna be able to see it.
Spin it 18 degrees or anything. Yeah, they're not gonna be able to see. It's gonna hurt. All that kind of stuff.
Disoriented. Yeah, I thought that was so cool, that part. And then like I just liked how Reva was such like a bad like Imperial, and she was supposed to be. So I mean, and she like, okay, well, hold on, I'll come back for you, because she wasn't like, we ultimately find out, but like, yeah, I think like a lot of the things now, watching the finale, you watch this episode again, like everything like totally makes sense about why she did what she did. And like,
well, yeah, this was the you betray who you are scene or whatever. She's like, well, this was never who I was. Like, she joined the Empire, like a lot of people misguided and found out what it was, like a Finn, basically setting up for a Finn to be able to defect, kind of thing. To go, wait, no, this isn't. I'm not being defined by this. I didn't sign up for this type of thing. I wasn't stolen from my family. The convenience of them ending up in the right hangar and the fighters or the snow speeders or whatever they were coming in and finding him and everything was a bit convenient, but
I think there's only one hanger on the top of that thing. But I think it's pretty obvious.
Well, true. It does have a
like a monolith
around the middle, so there's only one place to sort of land. But how they knew where they were at the time, again, it's perfect timing. It works. They had a tracker, whatever piece of info we need to subscribe to say they knew right where to go and right where to get them, whatever. But very much a fist pump moment too, to have them come in and sort of save the day, because it was on the edge of the seat again of how's Obi-Wan getting out of this, and to have them fly in, have those speeders, them hovering and what they were doing was a little. Are those truly? I've heard are those truly the same speeders as snow speeders, or they're something different?
No,
they would be, because they weren't snow speeders. They were just speeders, because they had to adapt them to
adapting them
they
to
were
the cold.
speeders.
So that's why I asked that, because this once again, just it's water under the bridge. But boy, such a missed opportunity for the Battle of Crate to be using snow speeders, or to be using the same speeders that were used in Hoth that were adapted for the snow. It was
this is closer together in time.
But
like,
just
that's like
they used those one
later.
ski speeders, and and I see what, and they wanted to create something new, wanted a new toy to sell, whatever. But and it would have been even more. Oh my God, you just copied Hoth, Walkers, White, and those same speeders. But it could have worked so well, because those speeders can be used in other planets to have been in there. But very cool to see them sort of come in and rescue them, and that getaway, that it wasn't Vader shaking his fist, but I think it was Reva shaking her fist at them as they're sort of escaping and flying off. Although she does shake her fist and force throw a whatever at Wade, so she does take somebody out. But just it had that ending of "I'll get you next time" type of thing. That was so good.
Some amazing questionable security in that. In Kristahara's fortress.
Well, like Roken says, it has no shield because nobody'd be silly enough to attack. Yeah. So why, is it questionable? They wouldn't think anybody would ever be there infiltrating.
No, nobody would be that stupid, really. But also, it's just that we've got another example of Imperial. Well, she was a double agent, wasn't she? And nobody thought to completely get rid of her credentials from the security system right away, so that she could just walk in there and use it. But also, you've got that security thing where you can just walk around the security tent.
Yes.
Also,
the pathway,
I don't understand that one. I don't understand.
Also, the Empire The Empire isn't known for their security. Look at Mandalorian.
I know exactly.
All you need is a face to access these files. Do you have a face? All right, go ahead. You could look at these files.
Yeah.
Just put the security gate right next to the door. You can't get around it then. You know, so
the body scanner or whatever that was. Yeah, I did. It was a neat design, but it was also. But it would be obvious if you went around it, you're not supposed to be where you are because everybody knows you're supposed to.
The
walk
Death
through
Star,
it.
they didn't lock any doors. Like if they just would have had like security passes to go through, like
They left a
there's no
giant
way.
hole in it. That's
Yeah,
Close the blast doors. Close the blast doors.
but if
Open
you had
the
to
blast
scan
doors.
your
Open the
badge
blast doors.
to get to the core and turn off the the tractor beam, there's no way.
Well, again, so to Ricky's point, or whatever, that right? They didn't build it with any. So they didn't build it with any security measures in place. They didn't need to. Everybody had. Although
I'm sure you could literally just walk into Vader's castle. There's like no.
Has it got a drawbridge? It doesn't really need one. It's got lava everywhere, isn't it? Really, I suppose.
Yeah. But it does make for a heck of a moat. And does he need a drawbridge? But he's Vader. Does he really need a drawbridge?
Yeah.
He can protect. Of course, when he's in the back of the tank, he can't protect himself. So he does
he's
need a
got that
drawbridge when he's
vamp guy.
recovered.
Yeah. So, but when we discussed
Do
the
you recognize
Jedi,
any of the Jedi in the
Yeah.
tomb other than
The Jedi.
Terra Sanube?
Yeah, Sanube is the only one I really recognize. I think the one lady was Roken's wife.
Roken's. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
She just the way they lingered on her, the way he told the story and everything. It just, I mean, it could easily be if they need to, if some creative wants to tell a story there or not. But we think they're in stasis in some fashion. Do we think they're truly
in Rebels? Remember they had what's her name? They had her body preserved. Remember? What's her name's Master?
Master Illuminatus, what she called.
Yeah, Illuminara, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had her. Remember, because they could sense that there was a Jedi there, but it was actually just her body being preserved. I think it ended up being bones or something, but it's kind of.
I think they're all dead.
Concept.
Yeah.
Their Force essence is there. I think they're just keeping their body preserved so they can, do experiments and try to get their blood out.
Creepy for sure, and just again the character arc that is Obi-Wan, that he has to see that he has to witness that he has to know what's going on in Fortress Inquisitorius and down in the bowels, and just go, well, oh no, what have I created? And not that he created it, but what has my mistakes cost? Look at this cost. Just
the youngling,
again,
the youngling that was there. Would that have been somebody from Reva's group? Maybe.
I was wondering if it was that or the little boy from episode 3.
Yeah, he didn't have a hat on in episode 3.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah, he didn't have that little hat.
Why keep the hat on the thing you're putting in station? I know why. So we know he's a youngling and all, whatever. But why keep it? But does I think? Well, no, it'd have to be a youngling because there's no further younglings with the hat on afterwards.
Well, they were training in the middle of Order 66, so that's why they all had the helmets on.
Why keep somebody with the hat on?
Well, that one guy was dressed like a He-Man. He had all that fur and everything on. Like he was like the Beastmaster. That guy looked pretty awesome. I want to see where that guy came from.
Looked like a samurai to me almost.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, he's all armored up. That's pretty cool. But yeah, no, that was such a hard scene. Like just knowing watching episode 3 and the Order 66 stuff, and then just now seeing they didn't even get rid of their burn their bodies like the Jedi usually do. They have them there, and it's such a desecration of the Order and everything.
I do think I do subscribe to the theory there is something to a sort of bigger picture, long game aspect to the somehow Palpatine returned explanation that is all of these sorts of things. What's in the Bad Batch, what's Grogu. In the Mandalorian with Grogu. All of these things are going to kind of slowly, eventually, big giant paintbrush picture paint something that helps us get to Snoke.
And he was the entire time trying to do this,
something to help not explain it away, but explain, to give some validity to what's happened there, and have this all ties.
Makes sense. Like if Anakin had visions of Padme dying, Palpatine would have visions of his own demise. So I mean, he would try to prevent that as much as he could. So doing all these weird experiments and all this stuff. I mean, even in I think in the Plagueis book, he was doing experiments.
I think his owner. I think his master. Yeah, I think they were doing. His master
Unnatural
was
stuff.
trying to do stuff and trying to figure stuff out. Boy, it had plagued us in a long
Tenebrow.
time. But there was something.
Tenebrow was his master.
Tenebrow.
Yeah, that's Plagueis' master.
Wow. Do not recall that.
Brus. So however you want to pronounce, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Tenebrow.
So how did that one end, Stephen? That one ended with them flying off, right?
Well, it ended with
Lola.
Lola was red. Yeah, turning red.
Oh yeah. Now with the red eye.
It was a Sith
Because
droid.
if you're evil, you got to change the color of the eye.
Oh, I think it was part 3. Which one? It got smashed. It was a touching moment, so it would have been much earlier because she's put it where Obi-Wan fixes it for her.
Yeah, that was.
They were on a transport or whatever, and Obi-Wan's tinkering away as whatever, and he fixes it, and she's all excited about it. That was a great Obi-Wan moment because he's not known for tinkering or.
But he fixed that toy he gave to Luke, so that he bought for Luke.
That was a model. This is a working droid, Lola. So that was I was impressed. I just remember being impressed.
Like he should have worked for Watto instead of working in that spam factory. Like he would have made some better money.
Spam factory.
Right. Okay. So onwards to episode 5.
Part 5. They're not episodes.
Oh, sorry. Part 5. Yeah. Sorry. You're right. Part 5. Part 5. The one.
Sorry to get my basement of the science.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Parts, Stephen. They're not episodes, please.
Okay. This is the one with the flashbacks. So this starts with the flashback of Kenobi and Anakin sparring lightsaber combat on Coruscant, and we get flashbacks to that several times during this episode. But the main plot thing is the Empire tracking Kenobi's location to Jabin. Just before that, Vader promotes Reva to Grand Inquisitor. And then the Empire arrives to start sieging the vicinity by just blasting at the doors, basically. And so to stall for time, Kenobi negotiates with Reva, and this is when he figures out that she knows who Vader's true identity is, as she witnessed the massacre on Coruscant when she was a youngling. And then she tells him that she's been wanting to get revenge on Vader rather than actually serve him. So she's been playing a really long game here. Thrawn would be pleased to hear this. Then the facility gets breached. Tana sacrifices herself along with the robot, who had got no mention so far in our conversations, her robot. And so Kenobi surrenders and is taken by Reva. And then obviously he then does a little bit of his bargaining or sort of talking with Reva to persuade her to try to kill Vader. And he wants Reva to try to kill Vader, and he's going to try to lure her to think they're going to double team up and take down Vader both themselves. But of course, that's not how it happens. In the meantime, Leia is there helping them open the doors, which have been jammed shut, and she then figures out that Lona's got a tracker on it and that kind of stuff. Well, she figures out that Lona's got a restraining bolt on her. So this is when Vader then turns up, sees the transport about to take off, stops it with the Force in midair, pulls it down, rips off the doors, all that palaver's thing, finds out there's no one there. The real transport gets away in the background. And then as Vader's feeling a little bit sorry for himself, Reva sneaks up from behind. They have a little bit of a pew 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 with
there it is.
Lightsabers. That's it. Vader stabs Reva. Grand Inquisitor turns up and mocks her. And then Reva sees the other chap which not got any mention, the fake Jedi chap. Forgotten his name. Hasha, that's it. So he dropped Kenobi's transmitter. Reva sees it on the ground and hears about a Force boy on Tatooine, and that's where it sort of ends with that. Well, of course we've got Kenobi sensing there's something wrong, but not figuring out what it is.
I just love that line, like "Goodbye, Grand Inquisitor." He's such like.
Oh, I thought the Grand Inquisitor was. I was a bit worried when we saw the trainer at the start, but I have to say he was brilliant throughout.
He was.
And the fifth brother, who I'd enough to have seen more of. I thought he was.
He's one of those villains that it's like he's so bad, like he's good. You want to keep watching him, be condescending and bad. He was good.
Revenge.
Is Jabim a new world?
Jabin.
So I don't know.
Have we heard that anywhere before?
No, we have heard it before.
Oh, I wonder if it sounds familiar to anybody.
In the sequels, I think. Isn't it when Zori in Poe we're talking about Jabim, or is that the same planet?
I got a feeling there's a planet that's very similar name.
Or is it Jablim? You know, the one where Zorian, you know, when it's the stormtroopers are there, like, or the First Order.
Yeah, it gets blown up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets.
Babu Freaks there. Is that Jablim? Or did they mention Jablim, maybe?
I don't think there's an L in
old
it.
days.
Are you putting an L in it? I think it's Jabim.
Jabim? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's the same planet or if it's
what
a
I think
different
it
one.
is.
J-A-B-I-M, yeah.
It's been in a bunch of books, a bunch of legend books.
Kajemi or something like that.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, it
Kajemi
was
is,
Kajemi.
that has a
Yeah,
demise. Yeah, it's in
Kajemi
a bunch of legends books.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But not much in canon. But boy, it did. I agree. It did sound familiar. Sounds familiar.
I just like the fact that, I mean, if it is a new planet, I know that was kind of some of the complaints from Book of Boba Fett is like, well, there's not a lot of new planets. And it's like, well, yeah, because they're making another series with all sorts of new planets. So it's
you can't have a new planet every time.
Yeah, but it's like it's hard to remember all this stuff. You know, it's a lot of categorizing, like to try to memorize and search all this stuff up. So Boba Fett
And I'm
was
sure there's
really
a map,
central.
and they try to figure out what systems nearby where
If you,
they're at.
yeah, exactly. There's some logistics to it, because if you just start picking a name and then somebody's basement of the science building is going to be like, well, that's on the whole other side of the galaxy. You know, how they get?
Yeah, their travel time should have been longer.
Yeah, pick the wrong sort of things or whatever. So yeah, no, I think it's fine. Maria, I'm very curious. I'm going to project a whole lot because the ladies sort of love Hayden as Anakin or whatever. But the flashback scene, did that? I don't want to say work for you, but
I think it worked for everyone, right?
Yeah, well, having Hayden back as a young Padawan, I've seen some rumblings of the de-aging and all that, but to me it was Obi-Wan and his Padawan Anakin. It was awesome. To a kid, I think they're going to recognize that that's Obi-Wan and his Padawan Anakin. He looks a little different, but they're not going to. He's already an old person to a kid kind of thing. So you just enjoy that, right?
They're always they're going to look older to a kid. I mean, to me, it's like, oh, okay, the de-aging, they didn't do as much as I would expect them to do, but also I've always thought that the prequels kind of look, if you're watching them like on a regular TV, they always kind of look flat because of the fact that they were using digital cameras, and Hayden looks really, really, really young because, you know, digital cameras. As far as this scene, that actually did work for me and did bring a lot of context and a lot of, I guess, nostalgia to the whole thing. And then to see what he's become, you know, and especially as we're going to get into it in episode 6, that was one of the things that I flashed back on as well when like Obi-Wan was thinking, you know, when Obi-Wan was going through his memories of Anakin and all that. That's one of those things that like really got to me.
I thought Hayden just knocked it out of the park. I mean, that was Anakin. It's years later, but he fell right back into the role. His expressions, his brooding, his desire for power, just so well acted to fall back into that role.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it.
And that was the thing, like it was the role that he was literally born to play, because I mean, he's always done, as a younger actor, he had always done like the brooding teenager thing. He played Scott Berenger in Higher Ground. He played, I can't remember his last name, but Sam in Life is a House. And
what about Jumper?
Jumper, not so much.
I love Jumper. That's a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
Jumper,
like, he's born to play Jumper.
Like, well, okay, fine. He was born to play Jumper.
Sorry, go ahead.
But like, he brought all that to Anakin, but like it didn't show so much because we didn't have a director who was capable of bringing that out in him.
And then these were, I mean, and then like episode 2 is like one of my favorite ones. I watch it a lot, and like, I don't know if there's not another word, but like the way that they looked in the show, it just like matched the, I guess, cheesiness of episode 2, which is something that, you know,
they nailed it. They just nailed it.
You know, Obi-Wan with the hair, and then, you know, like it was just the right amount to like give me the nostalgic feels for episode 2.
Yeah, exactly. You know. They matched that look in episode 2. So I mean, episode 2 is not my favorite as far as like story or anything like that, but just the look of episode 2 is one of my favorites, just because the visuals in that one are stunning. But so, and bringing back like that feel of being dropped into that Attack of the Clones era was like, it was everything to me at that point.
It's kind of thought so. Yeah, you talked about the acting and the feels for it. I think too, or having a director to help him, get that out of him and see the actor. I think the dialogue helped too. There was a lot of episode 2 Obi-Wan and Padawan Anakin dialogue, learner and master dialogue that those two got to bounce back and forth on, and go with. It really just helps solidify, especially if you're somebody that watched the Clone Wars as I did or whatever. Just that back and forth between them and the master. I am trying master, that learning aspect that he's going through, that he thinks he knows it all, but then Obi-Wan brings it back and says, well, hold on, I've still got a lot more to teach you. And that was so well done.
And this was supposed to be before, like probably before episode 2, right? I mean,
he still had his braid.
Yeah, he still had his braid.
Somewhere in that era. It doesn't say specifically when, but it's somewhere in between Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace, or maybe just after Attack of the Clones, because I think there was some speculation that was supposed to be his Jedi trials.
No, he didn't have a Jedi trial. Not in the.
But she's saying that it would have been. No, they were just training. They were just sparring. And I think this is before the Clone Wars.
And I don't think he had a robot hand.
Sort of.
I have to rewatch.
Still
learning.
I don't know. Sort of learning.
I have to rewatch. I don't think he had the robot hand.
Yeah.
I heard. I mean, this is just some chatter I heard somewhere, and that would fit, but only if he had like the robotic hand.
Yeah, the juxtaposition, obviously, not telling anything new, but the juxtaposition of how they sort of intertwine that training with what's the cat and mouse that's going on between the real world action and Vader knowing what Kenobi is going to do and Kenobi knowing what Vader's going to do and using those sorts of things against him. So beautiful.
This was Vader thinking about
well done. Yeah, he knew that he had Obi-Wan beaten and knew how. The princess always thought they know how to beat him. I also appreciate a great throwback. I don't remember the series, meant to look it up or whatever, but I think one of the bad guys, Kenobi, the negotiator or something like that, that he comes out and asks, is that what it was? Okay, but I'm thinking of the one, they're on the planet that was in the movie, and he comes out and he asks for a cuppa, and he's just dragging it out and dragging it out.
That was a Clone Wars movie, right?
I think the series or the episodes that I'm thinking of is related to what the battle or whatever we see in the Clone Wars movie. But yeah, he's dragging, and maybe it was Trench. Was it Trench? Anyway, just Kenobi the negotiator with Reva trying to buy some time, and she even says, if you're trying to buy time, this won't work. But yet Kenobi the negotiator, it worked. Yes,
he does the whole Bridge on the River Kwai thing in the episode, and he's like, "Oh, maybe we should have some lunch, and maybe, let's talk about
have some tea first." Yeah. So that was a great throwback to someone who's watched the Clone Wars and invested in all this, whatever. To see
wasn't that the movie when Anakin's trying to destroy the bridge?
Not Anakin, Obi-Wan. He's not trying to destroy it.
I thought he's like stalling for Anakin, and he comes with Rex under the bridge, and they blow it up.
Oh no, they're waiting for my recollection is they were waiting for reinforcements. They were they were defeated, and they needed reinforcements to show. So Obi-Wan goes and does the long stall delay to
Ron. Even in the Brotherhood book, you see a lot more of or even in the Master and Apprentice, like Obi-Wan has always been the negotiator. Like he's always been like the one trying to cut a deal.
So that was my point. I just appreciate that they I don't know if they meant it but this live action series that we're watching also put that on Kenobi, showcase that aspect of it. And him figuring out that she's hunting him. The line that how will he not see it coming? And he's like, because he will only see me. Reva, he was serving it up for you on a platter. It was literally.
And then she yells and like, turn on a saber, and then you ruined it. Well,
to me, she missed the moment. She did. If he would have truly joined, I've seen some people saying, well, she did follow Obi-Wan to join. No, if she truly would have bought in and said, all right, what's the plan? Then it would have worked. But
she wanted Vader to kill Kenobi in the transport. She was waiting for him to do that, and she thought he was in that ship. So she was supposed to stop that ship from going up in the air, but she waited until he was done. And then when it, the cat came out of the bag, then she's like, oh, I guess I gotta try.
I don't think she's waiting for that. I think she realizes this is her moment. He's weak because he's mad because Kenobi got away. He's only seeing Kenobi. Kenobi just escaped. Kenobi just defeated him. Kenobi.
But he does stand there for a while
you know,
looking. I mean, she could have did it at any time. Like.
No, but at this point in time, when she does it, he's only seeing Kenobi. He just got in his head. So now's her time. If she's ever going to do it, now's her time, because as Obi-Wan told her, he will only see me. And he's lost in the moment at that point in time because he had Kenobi at his fingertips and slipped through his fingers. So yeah, screaming and lightsaber, not necessary. But the force fight, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a bigger problem with Kenobi just leaving, honestly. Like I must admit that bothered me a lot. If he's like, we can beat him together, and by together I mean me leaving on a ship and you fighting him alone. Like,
but she didn't agree to it, though. If she had agreed to it, if she would have agreed to it, then he would have stayed and fought together and defeated.
We don't
him.
see. She just kind of like looks at him and like squints, like,
actually,
so
you're right, because what she does is, while she doesn't say okay I agree, or she doesn't say nope, no chance, she kind of hints that she agrees, because she says, all right, take him away and lock him inside with 2 stormtroopers.
They take him in there.
She had like shifty eyes, and
she's kind of seeing the light. She wants to hold her own,
but she didn't know that the people were on the ship already. And I think that was the whole trick. And she didn't know they were there. Obi-Wan overpowered the troopers. So,
get into the timeline. When did they get the doors open too? I don't think the doors are open at this point. She sends Obi-Wan in there with the 2 troopers. They're locked in. They're not going anywhere because the doors are still shut.
She had already fixed Lola and all that stuff already.
I don't. When Reva lets him go, I don't think so. She wouldn't have let him go in there with the doors open.
Yeah, because isn't there the scene at the only thing that bothered me from the episode was that, like, okay, the whole time they're like, okay, we only got an hour, to get everybody on the ships, and then like once they fix the doors, he's like, okay, everybody get on the ship. Like, you guys had like 2 hours.
Well, they had to get off the ship to fortify their positions. So there's, from a timeline aspect, you could rewatch it or to figure all that out, but they had to get off the ships to fortify positions because they were going to be attacked. But let's get to the force fights and the Vader badassery that is kicking the saber. I'm good. I'll just dodge. I'll just force block you.
Oh, that was great.
I'll just force flip you. Yeah, you're not worth.
It's not even worth pulling my saber on.
My sword, yes. And then I'm gonna just snap your sword in half, and I'll give you half. I'll use the other half. And fight you.
Lightsaber yoga, isn't it?
For those that want Vader badassery and enjoyed Rogue One so much, this to me was more Vader badassery than anything we've seen before, because it was that Force Unleashed you guys talk about, and that powers and all that. This was that he's grabbing the ship, ripping it apart, force blocking, fighting someone without using his lightsaber. Just great visuals to watch.
And even when he was like force fighting her, you could tell there was not even much effort being exerted. It was kind of
he's just like, okay, you're gonna do that move. All right, you sure? I'll block the parry with my force push. I love the force flipping of her. That she does the Matrix sort of flip over, whatever. That in part 6, I think he does it to Obi-Wan as well. But Obi-Wan, handles it much better than she did, obviously, because he knew it, saw it coming, seen it, whatever. We'll get to that when we get to part 6. But yeah. The limited effort was kind of noticed as well and enjoyed. Her taking the lightsaber blow, and she apparently took it when she was a kid too, right? He stabbed her when she was a kid. She tells the story like she went and hid and played dead. But how could she have played dead? She was right there, and of course, this is a flashback scene, and the way she's telling the story, maybe she wasn't right there in front of Anakin. That just turned into Darth Vader killing younglings.
She did get stabbed. I didn't think
she did either.
Yeah,
I thought it was just her in her
rewatching
mind.
it. Yeah, at first I thought she wasn't, but they showed her old Reva getting stabbed and doing like a quick kind of flashback to the past, like this dude stabbed me twice.
Yeah, and then she survives. Oh yeah, much consternation has been there. It needs to survive in order to tell a story. But right, she can take the stab to the gut, but Qui-Gon Jinn can't.
That's what the Inquisitor says. Like revenge does wonders to
revenge. Yeah.
Well, that's a tasty line, because he's saying that about himself, right? Revenge.
Yeah.
but then she uses it, that gives her the power to go, all right, yeah, I do want revenge, so I'm gonna fight for my will to live, and she does. She's able to
Qui-Gon didn't want to go on though. Like he's a Jedi. He's at peace. He did his job. He protected his Padawan. His Padawan protected himself, and he's like, time for me to. And like I said, it could easily be closer to the heart.
I'll begrudgingly allow it. You're right. No, yeah, there's something to the right. The evil, constantly wanting to fight, but where a Jedi will accept the fate that is
Michael Myers doesn't die, Ron. Neither does Freddy.
I also think that in that episode, that was probably Reba won the world record for the shortest reign as Grand Inquisitor. So I believe she got the badge at the start.
Like the whole Hand of the King thing with Grand Inquisitor.
That was this. This was the part. Yes, you're making me flash back through what she did or whatever. That there's a great scene of she's stabbing the lightsaber, like almost gets Obi-Wan. They're doing their negotiations, and she stabs the lightsaber through or whatever, but cuts the lock or cuts the thing that's coming off or whatever. So now the doors are breached. And there's a great scene of Obi-Wan doing a force push because they were like literally within feet of each other. But he force pushes and almost bowls her back into and a bunch of troopers fall over and it was another great moment of we don't really see Obi-Wan do that kind of stuff with the force or whatever, but it was evident in this part that he does an awesome force push to her when she opens the door. Loved it.
It seems to be a new thing, especially she's done it. Says it a few times, at least in this episode. I think maybe once more elsewhere, where she's force pushed away, but she sort of just slides across the sand like Michael Jackson moonwalk backwards, sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a number of that in part 6.
The Jedi are so powerful, and they're so like. I mean, it was taken for granted in the prequels because they're fighting all these wars, and Maul was exceptionally like a great Sith Lord, so that's why he was hard to kill. But you have like basically the B and C squad now fighting against A-listers, so that's why Obi-Wan looks so overpowered, but really it's the same stuff he was doing in the battle droids,
Yeah.
And so like the Inquisitors are never going to be that strong, Vader's that strong, but
this was the part. It had another great Leia line that was I'm gonna need a ladder.
Yeah.
Somebody says something. Whoever says something about it's in the ducks or it's too small. I can't fit in there.
Yeah,
whatever.
Roken.
It's just
Roken
like I'm gonna need a ladder. Just a great. I don't know. I found that so funny.
And then Obi was like, "Get the kid a ladder."
Yeah.
Get this man a shield.
Yeah, we got time to play, and he's like, "No. You trust me. I trust her. Get her a ladder. Yeah, get this kid her shield. Right. Get this kid her ladder." That was. Yeah, so much good Leia dialogue. I think there's another one. I think it's in the next part, right?
Time is moving on, folks, and we need to move on to the finale.
Wait, how did part 5 end?
It's Weaver finding Bale's message in the transcript.
Right.
Yeah,
finding the
Owen, and that's that. Real quick on that. That's brilliant storytelling because she only knows Owen's name from the first episode. And then she finds the communicator, and it just flashes and says Tatooine, Owen, and she's like, well, "I know an Owen." Like that's great. Yeah, that's great writing there. It's like, that's why they did that.
It's very good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great throwback to that.
I suppose they haven't got any sort of like, and that we got passcode on your communicator or your fingerprint thing on the side. Anybody can just pick up your transmitter and hear the last message.
Well, it does get to the. I mean, we need it. We need it for the Lacon aspect of why the heck Bale is, because I think doesn't he say, or is it the next one? He says, "I haven't heard from you in a long time." He says, "I know we said no communications, but I haven't heard from you in a long time, so I'm worried." It's like,
I'm gonna come down.
It's his daughter. It's his daughter. Like,
Well, I'm not giving him a pass. We have to because.
Obi-Wan listens to that message in the beginning of the episode, and he says like I haven't heard from you for some time. Like I'm assuming the worst, so I'm gonna go to Tatooine. The boys are my focus now, or something. He says something to that effect.
Yeah.
So
it's a bit on Bale to be sending that out. Like Steven said, there's no security on the thing.
He's obviously using the bat phone too much.
Yeah. Anyway, and it was necessary. It's necessary to move it along. It's necessary for the Laycon aspect of letting a casual fan understand what's going on. But it's just it has a bit of a cringe to us Uber fans. I think
it didn't seem very Bale, but I understand it was done for
necessity.
To move the story to get her to go to.
And you got to figure how before Rogue One this is. So, he's not to that point where he's fully rebellion and all that stuff yet.
True.
This might be the beginning.
Yeah, but it's Luke. Yeah, I get what you're going for, but it's Luke and Leia. From the Emperor, they must be hid. If he were to find out a powerful whatever goes on, that they are incredibly valuable. They are incredibly important to stay and remain hidden. So to be casually sending out that voicemail was a bit callous, I think, because of the importance that is. What we know of the Emperor and what he's doing with things, how much he would have benefited from having Luke and Leia, the son of. Oh yeah, it's cringeworthy to have see such a character with such a flippant attitude towards their secrecy, towards their.
But he doesn't say like, "Oh, I'm going to go get Anakin's kids," So
no, he doesn't.
Reva just knows he's important.
He's just
what
the
if
Jedi.
Reva hears
He's
the full
hunting Jedi
message, not the
younglings.
broken one? How about that? What if Reva were to hear the full message, not the broken one? Then it would have been, extrapolate it that way. That's where it's bad on Bale to send it. Thankfully, why she only hears a broken one, I don't quite get. But anyway, if she hears the full message, well, it either works or it doesn't work. As a cassette tape, you only hear
probably not expecting. He's probably not expecting.
Oh, come on!
Dropped it or given it away.
Well, when it broke, it messed up the security passwords.
It's too far away. So anyway, if she hears the full message, what's the ramifications? Extrapolate it that way, and that's where I think it's bad on Bale to have sent it. Part 6.
So it's pretty much like never do a reply all.
He said
as well.
Yeah, touche. Yeah, don't reply all.
Okay, so part 6, PART 6, as I'm reminded.
Well, I just did episode.
Reva has arrived on Tatooine and is looking for Luke. Well, actually, she's looking for Owen. And at the same time, or a bit later, Owen gets told about this by somebody else, so he knows that Reva is on Tatooine and coming for Luke. Vader is pursuing Kenobi in his Star Destroyer. Kenobi separates off from the group so that Vader and co just go straight after Kenobi's ship and leave the path guys unknown. So Kenobi and Vader land on some planet which I don't think gets named. They have a little lightsaber battle. Pew pew. Lots of rocks going, Obi-Wan throwing rocks at Vader. Vader throwing rocks at Kenobi. So we get Vader burying Kenobi to start off with. Then Kenobi escapes. And then Kenobi sort of incapacitates Vader by smashing up his breathing device, which is very cruel, and then damaging his helmet, which is pretty cool. And this leads to the sort of the emotional moment when Kenobi realizes that Anakin is fully embraced himself as Vader and that there is nothing really left of Anakin at this time. So back on Tatooine, Reva arrives at Luke's home and Owen and Beru give some serious poo-poo action before she then pursues Luke into the desert. And just as she's about to deliver the killing blow, she is reminded of Anakin's massacre in the Jedi Table, Order 66, and all that kind of stuff. And she decides not to slap Luke in half and instead brings him back to Owen and Beru, which is at that point in time, Kenobi turns back up at the right moment, which is an amazing thing. He lands, I can't remember, there's a slightly missing the bit in the end here. He lands, so he must have seen them looking for Luke, and then he gets out and goes, "What's going on? Where is he?"
Well, more so, they are out there looking for Luke and a ship lands. How are they not freaked out about how they know if it's they act like, Ben walks up on them going, "Hey, what's happening?" They had to have seen the ship land. So yeah, that was a bit of a, it's a
little bit strange. It's
well, I mean, it's Star Wars, so he parked far away and he's I think he parked at the house and then ran that way.
Still, they would have seen a ship land at their house. The house was
they're looking for their kid. They don't.
The house was in eyesight, but the ship could have been a bad guy, and you'd be like, "Oh no."
I mean,
but anyway,
they're already pursuing a bad guy anyway. So
But yeah, they're like you say, they're looking for their kids. At that point, everybody's.
So to tie things up, Reva sort of like has a bit of a cry, and she gets consoled by Kenobi, which is the complete circle that I foresaw coming at the start of the series, I have to say. Luke's back with Owen and Beru. And then we get on Mustafar, we get Vader essentially having to abandon his search for Kenobi after Palpatine lays down the law, basically, and tells him not to. And on Alderaan, we get Leia getting dressed up and sort of the new resolve as her duties as a princess, and Kenobi visitors and returns Lola essentially to Leia. And then we get back on Tatooine. We get Kenobi visiting Owen and Owen doing his usual "What do you want, Ben?" sort of thing. And then he lets Kenobi talk to Luke, and we get the bit that apparently everybody probably stood and started clapping and cheering when he went over and said, "Hello there," which I found a little bit awkward. Luke, I don't know what they said to him, how to act this bit. You've got this strange chap coming over, and he's just there looking like a rabbit stuck between the headlights, isn't he? That kind of bewildered look on him before he says, "Hello."
A rabbit.
Well, you know,
it's a deer.
It's a deer.
Well, we get rabbits stuck. In UK, it's quite a lot of rabbits more than deers. So
we just keep driving over the rabbit. We don't care. We're not swerving.
No, don't do that.
Come on, rabbits.
Swerve for the deer.
It'll be fine. He has to lick your abs with.
Rabbits' lives matter.
Hey, sorry. Is this the first bit of tears we've seen in Star Wars? Reva's crying, and she literally, streaming tears. And I was wondering, I'm thinking back, I don't think we've ever seen tears before.
Anakin when he left, and then his
Anakin.
mom.
That's why
his mom died. Remember?
All right.
What have I done? When he's like, "What have I done?"
Yeah, when he's
like,
standing there
tears in
looking
his
out the
eyes.
window in episode 3, like his tears are coming out of his eyes.
Yeah.
Question answered. Thank you very much.
When the pod racer guy loses, he's crying, and then
No, Anakin, right? Anakin has a tear. He sheds one lone tear type of thing, right?
What about Palpatine? Oh no, I can't take any more. I'm good. I can't take any more.
he's crying the whole time.
Yeah, again, not crying there. So yeah, Reva, she was full on. And then who knew Aunt Beru? Oh, Aunt Beru, so badass.
Mama Bear, Aunt Beru.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
my
Come
God.
on, Aunt Beru. Go on with your bad self.
Yeah.
She's
Square
I was
up.
Like, she's like, does she hide? She's digging out weapons, and I
straight
swear,
up thought
Ben
those
was
were
like,
actual bullet rifles when she pulled them out. I was
Ben
like,
was like, I don't think Ben knew those were there, but she. Oh, that was a great scene. I need to go back and watch that. But that was some. Just go on with your bad self, Aunt Beru. Like you say, Mama Bear, Aunt Beru. You're right.
Yeah. And then they missed the shot.
It's kind of an answer to you treat him like he's your own, and then Owen says, "Yeah, he is our own," and like to Beru, she really is his own or her own.
Yeah, she hadn't had any. This was the part that I love. Obi-Wan gives Leia, well, I'm gonna remember all the names, right? Reva's holster with the scratches in it. Tala, yeah. Tala's holster. Tala, Leia, Reva. Gives her the holster, whatever. And Leia's like, well, it's empty. And Obi-Wan's, well, I'm not going to give a blaster to a 10-year-old.
You're 10 years old. I'm not giving you a blaster.
Just classic.
And it stays empty because Alderaan has no weapons.
Oh, the Rick.
That's nice. That's a good point.
At the end, it holsters Lola. Some more great cosplaying in the future. She used it to holster Lola.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
that's
did.
such a great line.
I was watching that competition. I really got my mind went into a time warp, and I got my timeline completely messed up in my head because I was thinking when Owen falls off that thing and hurts his knee, and go, so that's why he ends up on that that Hoffa thing there because he done it. This is very dad. Then I like that's what about 5 minutes later, I'm thinking, you idiot. That was Craig in the Hoffa thing.
He's still limps though,
right? He's limps though.
Yeah,
we
does
were
limp.
watching it. My wife was like, "Oh, that's how he got the limp." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't ever notice that." Owen, I guess he does limp around.
But they did well to Luke doesn't see Reva, doesn't see a lightsaber, doesn't see her.
He never sees anything.
They tell him it's the Tusken Raiders, and when they come in or whatever, she tells him to run, and he escapes out the top hatch and just takes off. And then he's what, he slips and falls on the rocks or whatever, that he doesn't see her when she's about to strike him and all that. So yeah, they did well to sort of keep that.
I was saying in the chat, and like I know since my brightness was so up on my TV, like when that scene when Reva's standing there in front of Luke, like on the left side of her, like you can see Vader's like helmet in the rock formations, and on the other side of her shoulder you see a formation looks like Yoda's figure. So I don't know if that was intentional, like Ryan was saying, maybe it was a coincidence, but I think it was intentional, but it was just so dark and nobody saw it. But since my brightness was so up on my TV, I was able to do it. But I'm gonna try to get a screenshot of that and see if I can post that. I just thought it was
you're gonna
cool.
have to get a screenshot because I can't see that.
She's sitting there staring and wondering what to do. I'm like, oh, she's got an angel and devil on her shoulders. She's trying to figure which side to go on. So I thought that was nice. That was a nice touch.
Right as she's about to strike Luke.
Yeah.
So that was out in the desert or whatever.
She was like in the cavern and there's like rock mountains behind her, or whatever, or a cliff. But yeah.
Well, yeah, she sees herself in Luke in some fashion.
Yeah.
Or she's got a whole flashback, as Steven said. She's got a whole flashback scene or something that just torments, because what's her plan there? We'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the battle. But what's her plan? She's just going to kill.
She's like, have I become him? Like that was such like she realizes like how messed up she was, this whole
in
time.
In her mind, who's she going? What in her mind? What do we think? What do we think she's doing? She killing Anakin's son? She killing a youngling?
She doesn't know it's Anakin's son.
I don't think so either. Or she killing somebody that Obi-Wan's protecting?
That's what it is. She's killing people that Obi-Wan knows and loves.
Why did you not? Why are you protecting him? You didn't protect me and my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not protecting this one. So I'm going to dispatch him. Yeah, I don't think she's killing Anakin's son. I don't think she knows he's Anakin's son at all.
Oh yeah, I agree. Definitely not.
Just a force sensitive that Obi-Wan was protecting for some reason. That it's going to inflict pain on Obi-Wan because he didn't protect her and her friends. That's
yeah. He didn't benefit from his protection. So
and I kind of struggle with
to kill him.
Yeah, I kind of struggle with her. Like, well, if she wanted revenge on Vader, why was she going around killing Jedi? But I think in her mind, she's like, well, if my friends didn't get to live, you shouldn't either. Like.
Well, yeah, she wants revenge on two things. She wants to dispatch Vader and got to find the right time. But she's also mad at the Jedi because. Like an Obi-Wan, where were you? You didn't protect us. You were supposed to. You took me. You were the only family they were the only family I knew, and it just happened. You guys created this mess, and I'm paying for it.
Well, the fifth brother,
I think she's just mad at the world.
The fifth brother asked her in the first episode, like, "What are you trying to gain from this?" She's like, "What I'm owed," Which now that's what she was trying to, she wanted her justice, which was
she says justice somewhere in all of this. What are you looking for? She says that when she's. Where does she say justice? She says that to somebody.
She says what I'm owed. That's what she.
She says what I'm owed, but in this part she says justice.
Oh, does she say it later?
Okay, because I remember.
Oh, she said, "Where's my justice?" Later. That's what she says. Yeah, she's like, "Where's my justice?" I think she told Obi-Wan.
But she says it to Owen also. Owen's like, "What are you looking for?"
Or I think it was Owen. Or was it when she's mad at the foreman comes in and it's like, "You got something to say?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got something to say."
That guy that was I thought, okay, so I don't want to spoil the book, but like on I guess it's old. On Master and Apprentice, there's a Jedi that's unkept and he's all like, supposed to be scrubby looking. I thought that was that guy for a second, but then that guy just ended up being like a nobody that was getting the water and she pushes him out of the way. Which, as you watch that episode, her hair gets like so like messed up the longer and longer. Like by the end, her hair is just all wild and all over the place, and it just shows like how unhinged she ends up getting by the time she's meets with Luke.
Yeah. No salons on Tatooine.
Yeah, no. All that wind.
The desert wind.
The dry air does wonders for your hair, I'm sure.
So we get to the epic battle that is Vader and Obi-Wan again in the dark with the glowies and the lightings of their face, whatever. But we get the Obi-Wan stance. I definitely remember the Obi-Wan. I'll do what I must, or something like that.
Yeah, it was repetitious, but it was great.
Yeah. It needed to be repetitious and to be great. Actually, we get what do we get?
He says like,
there's fighting. I'm looking at my notes. There's fighting. I didn't care for. I think it's the first time we've ever seen a good guy do it. That force grabbing objects and throwing them at their opponent has always been a bad guy move, and I didn't care for Obi-Wan doing it because he tries to drop a rock on Vader.
Oh, he throws the whole
Yeah, he was
mountain at
he
him.
was attacking. He wasn't defending. I was a little puzzled by that one.
But still attacking, defending,
He
whatever.
said he'd do what he
the
must.
good guy. Well, touche, Ricky. Well played. Yes, but
That
yeah,
works,
just
that works, yeah.
we had never seen the good guys throw out, do that trick. That was always a bad guy comp out move. But then he tries to drop around, and then later he's just he's Grievous, or no, he's the Emperor throwing Senate pods at Yoda. He's just heaving rocks at Vader. It's like, I didn't care for that.
He's trying to disable him though. Like
I'll do
he
what
never
I
did a
must.
killing blow. He never did a killing blow.
No, he was trying to like.
Oh, so I'll take umbrage with that, because the strike to the helmet, that wasn't lucky. If you watch, if he doesn't have a helmet on, he's like not chopping his head off. He's slicing his head down the middle. It is a brutal blow if he doesn't have a helmet. To see Obi-Wan make the move that he does and make the strike that he's trying to strike, the head blow, whatever. Like I say, if it's not an armored person in front of him, it is a gruesome sort of saber strike. We've never had anybody cut in half, lengthwise. It's always been bisected. That it would have been. You watch that scene again and think about it in that way. It's a very brutal Obi-Wan move in what he was doing, because my recollection watching it a couple times was I don't think he got deflected at the end and it accidentally hits the helmet or something. Like he lunges and was trying to make that type of strike, and what a strike it was.
He took a chunk
especially
of it
after smashing the chest plate a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
If you've read High Republic, you've seen someone you've read someone getting cut lengthwise. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay.
I'll just leave it like that. But yeah, there's a vicious lengthwise.
It's in the same spot where that scar is when they take off Vader's helmet.
Yeah, I did want to point that out. I almost jumped out of my seat and I was like, "That's how he gets the crazy head scar."
Yep.
I know that they kind of did that on
poetic.
episode 3, but it wasn't as prominent. So you can kind of that
They
probably wasn't it.
you.
Yeah. But I did love that. It's cool.
Vader, the first he sort of deals with Obi-Wan. He does the force, the Thor force breaking the ground thing or whatever. Is that something in video games? Have we seen? Has someone sort of done that before? He sort of force creates the cave or whatever it was he does to the ground.
Yeah, you can force manipulate the ground and it explodes around you. Yeah.
It just seemed like the video game fans would be cheering at that move when I saw that.
They definitely cranked the fight up to 11, from ripping the ship out of the sky.
Oh yeah, right.
Rocks to. So I mean, it definitely had all the big stuff. I just hope they don't do too much crazy unless they go to a totally different era, because it is kind of lore breaking, so close to the original trilogy that these guys really are made to look so powerful. So we got the scene, that a lot of people wanted. They're super strong. But yeah, the battle was just vicious, and I love just Obi-Wan just kind of snapped. He is a master of defense, and he uses the butt of his lightsaber to just rip Vader apart and target his biggest weakness, which is his breathing.
I liked how they were super strong, but they weren't super athletic. They weren't jumping around like in episode 3. There was Obi-Wan does that.
Yeah, to Ryan's point, that they show their strength, and Obi-Wan, coupled with what you said, Ricky, I'll do what I must. And while that's not his normal stance, his MO, his normal fighting style, whatever, he's doing what he has to dispatch or to end this, or otherwise do something with it. He's smashing his chest plate with the butt of his lightsaber. He's going for a striking
greatest
blow.
move ever, because I've always said if you fight Darth Vader, why not just push his buttons, like turn off his respirator,
force push him. But coming out of the end of this fight, this battle between the two, not this one particular, but the battles that these two have, they are so much more not as powerful, because they are beaten. Anakin's taken yet another, because he took a slash to the back. That was probably in the in the armor or whatever. It might not have gotten to him, but it did put him on his knee. Yeah, it did put him on his knees. So he's feeling it to some extent, let's say. Plus the strike to the helmet, not being able to breathe. So yeah, he's excuse me, he's a bit decimated. Or otherwise,
he's doing that. Yeah, right.
He's knocked down a few pegs.
Well, between this and then what happens in Rebels later, So he's been messed up a few times. Well, you
spoiler alert.
No spoilers. No
but yeah, I
spoilers.
forgot about that. That right, there's more to come for
There's more
Vader
to come,
before the A New Hope, and there is 10 more years that right he's going to be. How about the Inquisitor sass talking Vader? It's like, dude, we should go catch them, and end the path or whatever it was.
Such
And
a
Vader's
great
like,
face.
yeah, no, I'm going after Kenobi, and the Inquisitor's like, okay, but we should really be going after them.
Yeah,
Who's
he
who's
says
the
what
Inquisitor?
he says what he
Who's-
needs to, but then once Vader speaks, he's just like, okay. He just keeps his mouth shut, and then the pilot or whatever is like, yes, Lord Vader, and he goes running off.
Yeah,
I'm sure he talked to the Emperor
it got
after
me
that.
who's the Inquisitor answering to? Does the Inquisitor, that they want that path shut down and they want to capture all of them? Is that the Emperor's edict or directive or mindset, or did the Inquisitors
Vader's.
coming from the Vaders? And he's reminding him of the look. If we go catch them, we can shut all this down. We can end this now. It's a I'm gonna cross things and not do it well. It's a Galaxy of the Guardians. Quint, no, who's the head guy that had had Thanos beat, but because he was mad that he killed what's her name, his girlfriend,
Gamora, he's mad he kills Gamora.
he
punches him.
The Inquisitor had it. They have it all right there. They could go capture them and end the path and do all that, but nope. He goes after the affairs of the heart, if you will, whatever. He needs Kenobi.
That wouldn't end the path. Remember, they're one of many paths already throughout the galaxy. So if you take out the ship, you kill a big section of them, but they're spread, or even unless you kidnap them.
Yeah, they were going to kidnap and
but obviously, Vader's the boss. So regardless of what they suggest, that's that you listen to Vader. So,
it's like I say, he's going what you got to go with he's being driven, much to the Emperor's sort of dialogue with him is, that's driving you, or Kenobi. Are you sure about what what your goals are, or what you're driven? Oh, so much good stuff in this.
And we have to, and I know we've been building toward it, but we have to point out like the change in the lightsaber colors. Like, it's good to see, because people keep asking him, like, what is Hayden Christensen going to do? He's in a suit. Well, we finally got to see what little we could of a real actor inside of a suit. And it was just beautiful the way that he was like cut down, and you get to see all this emotion. And again, I kind of want to hear Marie, because he's like, Hugh and Hayden Christensen, like, what was the feeling of all this, like all this emotion and stuff in Vader was just great.
That was the point at which I actually cried. That was the first point at which I cried in this episode, because Anakin kind of takes the responsibility on himself for killing off or Darth Vader takes the heat for killing Anakin. Like, I killed Anakin Skywalker. Like, I did that. That's like, he's no longer here. And the whole "then my friend is truly dead" I bawled.
Yeah.
And I just like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Sorry for it all.
He's like, you have nothing to be sorry for, because you didn't do it. I did it. That was me.
I killed Anakin.
There's been a term of helmet acting with when you have the full helmet on and just look up, look down, and all that sort of stuff, whatever, and it's so well done. But this bit of helmet acting that is the half helmet, half eyes, the lighting, as you said, that
the voices changing back and forth.
Like, the Hayden voice, the intermixing. Oh, that was so dull. And there's a dialogue. There's a scene where Anakin's talking and he says, "You didn't kill him," and he comes back and says, "I did." The "you didn't kill him" is lit blue and good guy-ish, so to speak, and "I did" is lit red with the red.
It goes through that shift, and it was so good. And like I said, I've said all along, the visuals in the show are absolutely stunning. I mean, there's other bits of cinematography we could go over for days and days, but
all of Disney,
all of this, but this one like got me right in the heart, because when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that was
Hayden needs, because to me, I see him, but then I could also see they could just about had anybody in there. I think, I don't know how much of that you guys really see Hayden, but
two stunt people.
I think, well, no, when the voice is, I'm sorry, when you're seeing the face, that been somebody else, what I'm going to suggest is Hayden deserves much props and a lot of thanks for coming back and doing what he did in terms of acting inside the helmet like that and having the makeup and not necessarily seeing all of you, but being, that we know that that's Anakin, that's the actor and everything.
I mean, he's as much as Darth Vader as
he owns
James
the
Earl
character.
Jones is,
as much as I was going to say Ewan is Obi-Wan, that he is Anakin / Vader, whatever. So to have him in the half helmet and doing the acting and the makeup, he deserves much kudos, much thanks, much admiration that I'm sure he will get from all of us in the fan base because of for doing that, for coming back and making that happen in that way. So well done, so well acted, so much emotion in that scene between the two of them. Again, it's back to the feels. You were my brother, Anakin, kills me every time I gotta watch that. And then seeing this scene, seeing these scenes, and the I'm sorry for all of it type of thing is very much that. Feeling those feelings.
I was hoping we were gonna get now I have the higher ground, but
I thought so too. When he had a
I think it would have probably ruined the
we all said it in our head, so it was enough.
It should be a meme moment.
Yeah,
it's understandable.
The whole high ground thing is a fan thing. It's not that. It's not really that. I don't think Anakin, Vader, or Obi-Wan are thinking about the high ground, low grounds, and every.
We took, or it's been run with, because that was the defeat of Anakin. That was how Obi-Wan defeated. It's over, Anakin. I have the high. We all watched this battle
that
and
they
wondered.
Probably had that Anakin was too well, I can do it. It doesn't,
Well, he does, because he says you underestimate power. He says, "Don't try it." And sure enough,
Obi does it to Maul. He's trying to beat. He's trying to beat Obi-Wan the same way Obi-Wan beat Maul. I mean, I'm sure Obi-Wan told the story. Then I flipped over his head and I chopped him in half. And then Anakin's like, I'm going to do. And that's the weird thing. Technically, Anakin had the high ground when he did the flip. So Obi had the low ground. So I don't know, man. Like,
no, because he started from the bottom.
It started, where he started. So anyway, that was, definitely.
Can you believe we've gotten this battle what? How many years later after 1977?
17 years later.
If we kind of get to the synopsis part of it, we're ahead of the game, but when we're out of time, Stephen, that it wasn't. It has its moments. It has its issues in certain parts or whatever. It wasn't a story that needed to be told, but I'm so glad the story got told. I'm so glad I got to see that on screen and watch it. Like you say, Ricky, that we got these extra battles and these epic scenes and these epic interactions between the characters that we didn't think that we didn't have before. Whether we didn't think we were going
honestly
to or not,
thought this show was just going to be Obi-Wan fighting sand people on Tatooine and protecting the homestead, which I'm glad it wasn't. This was so much better.
Well, we've talked about that.
I know I mentioned it in the past that my biggest concern was they announced that the battle was going to happen. That was the thing. It's like, hey, we're making the show. Yeah. You're going to see a big, huge battle between Obi-Wan and Vader. And my concern is well, in New Hope, it's I was the you were the master and I was the learner. What is it? I know I'm mixing up the words off the top of my head.
I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Yeah. So, and it proves it again. That was my biggest worry, is that it was going to mess up New Hope. But in the end, I'm glad to say that I don't have episode 5 was 6 out of 5 stars. Excuse me. Part 6 was 6 out of 5 stars. It was just great. It still fits firmly within established canon and lore, and sure enough, he was the learner. He learned his lesson. He
got schooled.
Well, he calls Obi-Wan master when they're fighting, and then he's like, oh, I forgot what he says, but he does address him as master still. And when Obi-Wan leaves him,
when he has the high ground, I think he said.
When Obi-Wan, when he has high ground, when Obi-Wan leaves him, he's like, goodbye, Darth.
Yeah, very end. It's so, and that ties in with the From a Certain Point of View book, which
is his title.
Obi-Wan's point of view during the fight, and why he doesn't call him Vader, or he doesn't call him Anakin. He just calls him Darth because it's too heartbreaking to call him anything but just a Lord of Evil. And it's just Darth.
I never thought of that. So in A New Hope, he does say only a master of evil, Darth.
Yeah.
He doesn't Vader. He doesn't. Obviously, he's not going to Anakin at that point. But the Darth. I wondered about.
They're continuing that same conversation where he's still talking about I'm the master.
Right up until there's the season 2, and they have something else because you should not have come back. Has that been? Are you okay with that? That one has a bit of a. It's still in the.
I think it
beauty that is Star Wars storytelling. That one still has a bit of a open-ended sort of from a certain point of view.
And then Tarkin says, "Truly, he must be dead by now," and all that that other stuff. So
yeah,
I think they're just assuming they haven't heard from him in like 10 years, so they're assuming like, oh, he probably just went somewhere and died.
See,
got
that's
old.
what doesn't square with me because he knows he's out there. He knows he walked away. He's out there alive. Now, the Emperor does sort of say, slow your roll a little bit, but why would he not be fit? Before it was we got to find him, we got to find him, we got to find him. Oh, surely he's gone or he's dead or whatever. He's not out there. But now he knows he's out there. So for the next 10 years, well, how is that not Vader's focus to go find him? We found him once, go find him again. Go kidnap Leia again.
The Emperor can sense that like there's still some kind of conflict maybe at that point. I think he truly becomes Vader now, but like
you have to let it go.
Yeah, I was reading a thing about Deborah Chow, and I guess they wanted her to use the Imperial March earlier in the show, but she said she didn't want to use it until that scene after he talks to Palpatine. I don't know, some of the writers, I guess.
Well, there's like 7 executive producers in the show. Like,
but I guess
that was perfect. Perfect use of it.
Yeah, because she says at that point when they have that conversation and the Emperor tells him no, who's your master? I am, basically, stop pursuing Obi-Wan. Why do you want him? Then at that point he's fully Darth Vader, and that's why you hear the Imperial March at that point.
So he's not as focused, not as concerned about the revenge. It doesn't. Okay, so he doesn't need the Kenobi, but they're still hunting Jedi to dispatch of them. I would think the Emperor would still be concerned of Master Kenobi being out there potentially spinning up new Jedi.
Anyone that knew Anakin that was that close would try to turn him, and he didn't want any of that distraction to be going on because I think he knows Vader can be a bit obsessive about stuff, and he got rid of Padme because Padme would have been a distraction, so and he's been distracted now with Kenobi. He doesn't need to find him.
All right, so put a pin in that. The other elephant in the room is that Reva is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
You gave it a 6 out of 5, and all buttons have been, and it ties right into. It's like, but wait, what does it? There's somebody out there that knows about Obi-Wan, knows about Leia, knows about Luke. Now doesn't know what their significance is, but knows that if you want to get to somebody somehow, whatever. I guess she doesn't. Leia doesn't have any ties to the. To turning the screws on Vader because nobody knows that part of it. But Leia got Obi-Wan out of hiding. She doesn't need to do that. Doesn't care. The Emperor. So the Empire good. The Empire would be able to figure out that kidnapping Leia brought Obi-Wan out. So why wouldn't they do that again?
It's more of an attack on Bail. I think. I don't think the Empire thinks Obi-Wan has a tie with Leia. They know Obi-Wan has a tie with Bail. So they're just going after Bail.
Going after
nobody
him,
knows that he contacted Obi-Wan except for Reva.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a sucker for redemption stories. So why Reva it's the hero story. She was training to be a Jedi. She fell to the dark side, and now she obviously, and that's my biggest takeaway from the show. And the thing that I asked a lot of people is the show was great. They wrapped up the things that I think they needed to wrap up. But there's always things that make you wanting more. And I want so much more from Roken. And I want so much more from Rhea that it just anticipates me for any comic or any book or anything down the road that Obi-Wan straight up goes to Roken and is like, we need generals. He's like, we need
I was just getting ready to bring up that. Yeah, Roken's in Andor.
He has to be. Right?
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Oh my gosh.
Because to what you were talking about, Obi-Wan says, you're a leader. People follow you. Don't stop doing that. And he says, I'm just getting started. So
when's Andor set?
And the real world aspect that Ice Cube's son's a pretty prominent actor and would be looking for a gig and could handle, the expanding of his roles and his range and all that sort of stuff. He would relish a job in Andor, and I definitely think we see him in Andor.
He did tweet something the other day saying that he appreciates the role and how his character is now forever an integral part of Star Wars. So that can't be removed or something like that. He said something to that effect.
I'm hoping, and I never thought of that. So thank you for putting that expectation, which I don't.
Because isn't Andor set 10 years before Rogue One, right?
Kind of jumps around, but
be around the same time. kind of period.
Well, I think the time. That's why I say that I think the timeline works. So there's that dialogue that you're a great leader. Don't ever stop. Oh, I'm just getting started.
General Roken,
and then
sounds
Andor
cool.
Andor is going to be coming along at about this timeline where he's just getting started. So yeah, I think I'd put heavy. I definitely bet on this as coming in.
Tease. I mean, they definitely set it up for more stories, and I think that's a great thing. So it's I do hope to see him because I do like that actor. I just keep saying I thought he did great.
Yeah.
In this.
Oh yeah,
everybody on the show was.
Tala being dispatched is unfortunate because I thought she that was a great character. She played it very, very well.
More Game of Thrones people in Star Wars.
She didn't die, so I want to know more because I like the redemption. Kylo Ren's one of my favorite characters.
She could show up in Andor too.
Who?
That Reva. One I'm a little bit of a stretch.
Tala's.
No, Reva. I said Reva.
Reva. Okay.
Yeah.
Too many Oz. Jeez. Get another vowel here for some name.
I'm not as excited if that does happen, but I just want to see more Reva. So whether there's books, comic stories, or that she just helps in some way.
There's
the
Rebels another show.
She's redeemed and then helps with the path, maybe. But how would anyone trust her?
I mean, she knows.
That'd
be good.
Jedi Path sounds like a cool show.
Yeah. The Jedi Path, that could be the Path would be a cool name, and just some stories and the I love I give you my word, but how does Obi-Wan trust this guy? And he full on says, I know my word doesn't mean much to you being a fake and a cheat or whatever, but Obi-Wan in classic beautiful Obi-Wan, it's like I trust you, or it's enough for me or something. Oh, I love Obi-Wan.
The expectations are rising.
That reminds me of the whole I give you my word as a Spaniard in The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Yeah,
doesn't mean much, but I'll take it.
So we're heading over time, but we haven't mentioned the elephant in the room, or the big Force ghost in the room, which is the turn of Qui-Gon at the end of the episode.
He was there the whole time.
I know we've discussed this a little bit to death. Oh, bit of a pun there. In the group and stuff like that. But does anybody have any sort of words to say that we've got a fully bodied Qui-Gon in the Force Ghost flesh?
Ron, I did rewatch the Yoda arc, the Clone Wars, and he does say that he didn't finish.
So yeah, I've had to come around with it because it happened. So it's on screen and it's a story. But to me, Qui-Gon should have been just a voice, that he didn't fully get the training. I don't think you get to continue to learn stuff once you join the Force. Because if that's true, to what end? If you can keep learning how to do things and learning about the Force and learning things, well, then you can just keep learning until you could solve all the world's problems.
Yoda struck the tree with lightning after he died, so...
They become a bit of I fear they have the potential to becoming a bit of a storytelling crutch, that having the Force ghosts being able to continue to learn, do stuff. So I really had him as being just a voice. I really would love the behind the scenes aspect. I think they asked Liam, would you come back? And he said yes. So they said, all right, we'll turn you into a Force ghost, versus you should just be a voice. But if you're willing, we're not going to pass up that opportunity. We'll use you. And again, I think a little bit of Laycon action, that you have to have that Force ghost for the lay Star Wars fan that will recognize that Force ghosts are somehow a thing to people. That if it was just the voice, they would be like, wait, why is he just the voice? Oh, because he didn't get fully trained. What? I'm confused. But they've seen the Force ghost of Obi-Wan, so seeing the Force ghost of that guy from that first movie. Oh, I know him. Yeah, he was a guy that got stabbed. Oh, he's come back to him because that's his, I get it, I understand it, but boy, I really would have liked it more had it just been a voice.
Look at every ghost. Like any movie about a ghost, they learn. Even the movie Casper, they learn how to be a ghost. Even Patrick Swayze in Ghost, he learns how to be a big ghost.
He pushes that penny up the door.
That's an absolute first. Star Wars and Casper. I don't think we've ever done.
You just learn Patrick Swayze. Like they learn these powers. So yeah, and just like how when Obi-Wan passed away, he was a voice at first, and he had to accept the living Force. He had to work on, it gathers strength. I'm sure it's not super easy That's why I'm
subscribe to that theory of Obi-Wan getting stronger and stronger is because Luke, the callee, the other end of the call is getting stronger in the voice and can accept
basically
the
what
voice,
Qui-Gon tells.
accept the very faint blue gooey, and can accept the moving a tree branch blue gooey because Luke is stronger in the Force. The blue gooey is the same level. Obi-Wan is at the same level. It's Luke that is gaining the strength.
Oh, no, I gotta say I'm not a fan of that. I'm not. They're Force Ghosts because what they do, not because Luke is drawing him out as a Force Ghost. So I like to think that.
Not drawing him out, but Luke is better connected with the Force that he connects.
That's what Qui-Gon tells Obi-Wan that. He's like,
yeah,
oh,
Qui-Gon
you
tells him.
Yeah, he's
I've been waiting for you, basically. I've been here.
Yeah.
But
you're ready to see me. Yeah.
How do we, so any future Star Wars story, we need limits. And I saw another thing posted just today, whatever, that I found, because my point is going to be that any future Star Wars story from here on out, if the Force Ghost can keep on learning and can show up at any time and say, I've been here all along whenever you needed me, well, then they're a storytelling crutch like time travel that they can solve any problem or get
they've already
out of a
established that
bind.
they can't interfere. They're like the Watcher in Marvel. They
can't interfere in terms of moving something, whatever, but they can tell somebody, hey, the secret is behind that.
Both Luke and Yoda interfere with, lightning and catching a saber. So I just think each iteration of a Force Ghost gets stronger from learning. You have just a voice. He becomes solid. You have Obi-Wan who likes to sit on logs.
And he sits on
you have
logs.
lightning striking Yoda. You have Luke who catches things. Like they'd be all learning to become, I don't expect them to be an army of Force Ghosts in the future.
No.
But once I can imagine Qui-Gon feels like he's ready to move on, he can just move into the Force where he's like, okay, and he calls him Padawan. Like he's like, you're my Padawan still. So, and he in the book.
Interesting. So you're suggesting the Force Ghost ends because the Force Ghost person, whatever, is kind of done or decides to, okay, I'm going to fully join with the Force. Because to me, that's what I need. I need some what makes them end or what makes them not be around so much.
Unfinished
down
business.
That's actually
unfinished business.
That's actually addressed in Legends stuff, because in Heir to the Empire, in the first Zahn novel, Ben comes to Luke as a Force Ghost and says, this is going to be the last time I visit you, or one of the last times I visit you, because I'm going to fully become one with the Force. I mean, it's no longer canon, but it's one of those things.
Interesting. So it's just the Force Ghost has some sort of limiting aspect just because of being with the Force. That's an interesting thought too.
You have to become fully one with the Force at some point.
I've fully contended that the Force Ghost could only stick around could only talk to and stick around for somebody that they interacted with in real life. The Qui-Gon will only get to hang around and talk with Ben, and once Ben passes on, that sort of dispatches the Qui-Gon Force Ghost. Ben can then be a Force Ghost to anybody he's talked to, which is Luke. That it can continue in that manner.
But I think once they serve that purpose, they feel like they no longer have to be there.
Unfinished business is an interesting prospect. The thing that was recently posited that I found really fascinating, it was a post about technology versus the Force. And I forget all the lines, but the thing that stuck out to me in this thought, and boy, I need to credit who gave that. I'll try to find it and put it in the chat. Was Force Ghost never appeared in any sort of technical environment. They were on Dagobah, they were on Yoda, Hoth. They were always sort of in nature, in the desert, that they appeared in an area where there would be a concentration of Force things, living beings, and all that sort of stuff, or whatever, that helps to manifest a Force Ghost to some extent.
Well,
that they don't. That the Force
maybe
voice
a little, but if they
X-Men.
want it to appear on the Death Star, they probably just could, but you don't want them to realize they're kind of there.
But yeah, the voice was technical in the technical environment of the Death Star and the flying of the X-wing. Trust your feelings, let go, Luke. That type of thing. That was an interesting. I never given that some thought, or that was an interesting posit somebody recently put in front of me. That was the Force Ghost and the Force versus technology and how those two sort of interact and where they interact. But the unfinished business, that might be a way to sort of square how what I don't want to say dispatches a Force Ghost, but what eventually makes a Force Ghost.
They're just ready to accept it.
anymore.
Like when the
Yeah,
series
they're ready
started,
to
somebody
accept it. fully join. Yeah, fully become.
Somebody online on Twitter was asking, did a poll like which character do you think would come, you want to see, and they had Qui-Gon as an option. I'm like, well, he can't really appear because I was adamant about that. Like he can't appear because he's only a voice, kind of thing. And someone pointed out that I guess in with the Kenobi book, the one that's no longer canon anymore, I guess by the end he does appear to Obi-Wan, but I haven't read that book.
He also appears in the canon book from a certain point of view, Master and Apprentice chapter. Like it straight up says that Obi-Wan can smell things and stuff like that. Like he's a fully powerful ghost who's just there with him. And it's actually, the chapter is from Qui-Gon's ghost point of view. So people really it's a great chapter. It really is. So
and are those considered canon, right?
Don't we think the on-screen canon, they had been setting it up? Can we agree that the on-screen canon, they had been setting it up that Qui-Gon was to be voice only?
No.
What's on screen?
If you just watch the movies, you assume that like you die, you become a Jedi, and eventually, you die and you become a voice, and then you become a ghost, because that's what happened with Obi-Wan.
I think maybe a discussion on the power of Force Ghost. I think the power of Force Ghost should be saved.
Where would all the other Force Ghosts be? They should all be.
There's nothing in the movies that says like Qui-Gon can't be a physical ghost. There's nothing.
No, I think not the movies, but the movies in the animated.
Oh, well, you just said movies.
No, on screen. So on screen is anything on screen versus book, obviously, a cartoon or comics. So anyway, I guess I'm really beholden to the Clone Wars Yoda arc where he says, "I can't do it," or why can't I? I'm pretty sure Yoda. You said you watched it, doesn't Yoda ask, "Why can't I see you appear before?"
Yeah, he does.
He's like, no, I can't.
He's like, "Show yourself, can you?" He's like, "No." He's like, "My training was incomplete when I died." So I'm part
but
of
that opens the ground to what I think
something,
Ryan was saying, that his training was incomplete when he died, and if you can keep learning, he completes it after the fact. That's a bit of a stretch.
I mean, I buy it.
And I have to too, because it happened. I saw it on screen or whatever. So he did complete his training, and he's figured out how to Force Ghost train.
I just think it's nice that the whole time you watch Obi-Wan and like he's saying, "Master, where are you? I need your help." Qui-Gon's there the whole time.
Watching. Oh yeah, right. Watching and letting him solve it on his own, and would only intervene if he needed to. And
regain his faith again. And the Force.
Exactly.
There's power there. I didn't care for the reveal.
Did you guys notice though the footprints in the sand imagery thing?
Oh, there's
like every grandma had this in their home. I know every grandma had this in their home.
I know exactly
that footprints poem where the portion that talks about where Jesus was there the entire time, and
I was gonna
that thing. I can never remember what the whole poem is, but that's
when I needed you. Why weren't you there? There's only one set of footprints or whatever. He's like, well, that's when I was carrying you. Yeah,
that's when I was carrying you. It kind of reminded me of that, because you see that picture of him like receding into the desert, and like Qui-Gon beside him, and the tracks of the Opi and all that, and I was like, oh gosh, it's that portrait that poster that was in every grandma's living room.
I actually got that quote from a DMX song, so that's why.
No, but you very much could put those words juxtapose it on that picture of Obi-Wan and the Eope, and
I really want to steal him out.
That's beautiful, Murray.
When you couldn't see me, it was because I carried you.
Yeah, that's when I was.
You should just put. I've seen people do that before. I'm sure everyone's seen it, where they take the episode 2 Obi-Wan and they make him like Jesus and stuff like that. Just put that picture and be like, he's walking in the sand with you, and give it to your grandma and be like, oh, thanks, this is really sweet. And you're like, yeah, Qui-Gon is with you. Like,
I don't think my grandma had it, but I think one of my aunts definitely did. But anyway, it was one of those things that you find at your grandma's house or at your like ultra religious aunt's house.
The ultra religious, yep, definitely recognize. And it's a poignant poem or whatever it is that, for if you follow that faith or whatever, that it truly is a very powerful thing when you get to the end and realize that I carried you through that. That's great.
A touching way to end the series and this episode, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely left. I'm gonna push on one thing. I didn't care for the having his back turned and like turning around reveal. Force ghosts are gonna present themselves, have in the past. Obviously, it's now allowed, but have in the past, just presented themselves to you, not this turn and reveal sort of. Here I am. Look, I'm your Force ghost.
He was just guiding Qui-Gon like a friendly angel.
Just walking with him.
And then he's like, "Oh, he can see me now." He turned around like, "Oh, hey, like." It's about time.
Luke walked out of fire.
That was a Bobby Ewing kind of moment, wasn't it, in the show? Turn around sort of thing.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. Yes, it was that. That sort of reveal.
I enjoyed it.
So
we clapped.
They did a fantastic job wrapping this up, but yet leaving it open ended.
It's funny.
They could season 2 it if they wanted to, if they can find the right creative story to tell in the next for the next, or not having to tell but in the time frame that's allowed, because you only got 10 years. But they could also be done with it right here and now, and there's no loose ends that need wrapped up.
Yeah.
But there's still some things out there that make us go, well, I wonder what happened to X, Y, or Z. That it was very, very well done. Treated the characters, the character arcs. Obi-Wan's character arc has been amazing, what they've done in the Clone Wars for him, whatever, and this just adds even more to it.
I think this might be the one show that I'm gonna watch repeatedly over and over again, because it's the movie. It's a trilogy of movies for me. It's 6 hours. So.
Yes, they made one that could you join it all together. You can miss the credits at the end. Could bet 6 minutes worth of credits every part, isn't there?
Yeah, right.
They could do with just combine it into one big movie thing. That'd be quite nice. I wonder if they would do that. That's not too difficult, is it? That'd be quite nice to watch it all as one big one. Okay, folks. So we are bang over time. This bumper
What's next?
episode. What's next? Well, we're all going to go and have dinner and stuff, aren't we?
Yeah,
no, what's next in the world?
I got lunch.
What's next for us in the world of Star Wars?
Books.
On screen. No, what's next for us?
Star Wars, Villainous, and the books coming out next week, and Andor.
Andor's next.
Yeah, we'll be back roughly in about a couple of weeks.
No,
time.
wait, that Lego summer one that comes out.
Oh yeah. We can cover that next time around. Yeah. Cover that trainer and stuff for that.
Andor is August 31st.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah. TV stuff is end of August. Okay, thanks very much, folks. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Great Senate. Cheers.
Goodbye there.
Go switch off. I am the Senate.
Be sure to follow us online. We're at Facebook at PSW Senate. Join our Positively Star Wars Facebook group, where we all are in there interacting. You can find us on Twitter at PSW Senate. On Instagram, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. And on TikTok, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. We look forward to hearing from you.
The Force will be with you, always.
Yeah, it's recording now. That is a question, actually. I might make a note of that when we get, because I've found mate quizzes. Do they retire the numbers? It sounds like football over here. If they do that, if a famous player retires, they sort of retire the number.
And I just finished reading the Vader series where they use the Inquisitors, and plenty of them die, and they don't really replace them as far as I've seen.
I've read that one. I haven't read it for a while, so I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember that. I read some of those. I definitely feel like it's separate. Yeah, I don't know if it's not clear when I was reading an article about the Inquisitors a couple of days ago, and they said it's not really clear when they stopped being used. It's sort of like Vader took a backseat at one point, a bit more to it.
I wonder if that's Rebels. When they stopped. Do we see the end of the Inquisitors in Rebels?
Well, I'm wondering if that is sort of, in terms of what we've seen on TV and what is canon, that is pretty much the end of it when the Grand Inquisitor, spoiler, gets it. That is pretty much the end of them. But
no, that happens like early. Then the other ones are still around later.
Oh no, Ricky's here now. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, and Josh is here too. So I didn't since he doesn't ring a bell like in a shop.
Yeah, again, I've never watched Rebels, so it's kind of one of those canon things where, much like Rogue One, you have to tie up all these little stories before the original trilogy starts. So you have to wipe out an entire cast of people in Rogue One, just so it's not like, well, why didn't Cassian pop up? It's like, because he's dead. Well, now, if you left the Inquisitors alive before the original trilogy, people would be like, well, why didn't Palpatine just use the Inquisitors? So me not seeing Rebels, I kind of wonder if they're all killed, and it's like, now that we have the Death Star, we no longer need the Inquisitors. And Palpatine just kind of lets them die type
that's
stuff.
Like pretty much what happened in the Rebels. You don't see them anymore after a certain point.
Okay.
Well, they were there
but is there a reason you don't see them, or are they just ignored?
Do you want me to spoil the show?
No, okay. Well, as long as I know that it's tied up, then I guess it's kind of hanging a baby carrot, not a good
Unless
carrot.
There's like a 35th brother or 27th sister out there somewhere.
Yeah.
They never showed.
I just think, I think they probably they had to hunt down Jedi and point by that point they thought that was it. They've done their job. Maybe they retired and became like Palpatine's Imperial Guard, those ones in the red and stuff like that. Maybe they moved into that.
Is there like a comic set in like the OT time when Luke has to face an Inquisitor? I mean, that's the only thing I would think of.
Well, Luke he met the spirit of the Grand Inquisitor, didn't he, in one of those comics?
Didn't in the radio drama didn't they mention Inquisitors, that they were still around?
I read somewhere in this article I was reading that the whole topic of the Inquisitors has been around since like 1986. Apparently,
I think they came from the radio drama, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh wow, I don't think I've heard that.
I think it did, but by the way, good morning. I think it did.
Oh, I know. Yeah, too. So
I haven't listened to it in a long time. It's sitting here in a drawer. I should pull it out.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
Well, good morning too. I was drinking my bottle of water.
Say it. Urinal. Urinal.
Oh, behind it's got here, the Imperial Inquisition has its roots in the Spanish Inquisition of real life. Yeah.
Remember the Spanish Inquisition had those flying lightsabers?
Oh yeah.
So Star Wars does take place in our universe then. Interesting.
Yeah. Nobody escapes the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
Well,
nobody expects it.
Right.
Yeah, nobody expects it. Yeah. I can't see anything on Wikipedia. It doesn't say anything about the end of what happened. Mind you, I'm reading over stuff very quickly here.
Is it ironic to have questions for the Inquisitor?
Sorry, what?
Is it ironic to have questions for the Inquisitors?
Yeah.
I have not rewatched Kenobi since Wednesday or Thursday.
Since you last watched it.
Yeah, because I rewatched the whole thing after the finale, but I've been playing that villainous game. It takes like 3 hours every time you play. So.
Yeah, I'm only playing with 2 people. I'm only playing with 2 people, and we got it down to an hour and a half.
We started one at 10 last night because we had a late dinner, and then we didn't finish till like 1 in the morning.
Why would you stay up that late? No, our first one was we started one on 7, didn't finish at 9, and then we played it again the other day, and I think we ended at 7. So yeah, we started at 5:30. So we got it down to an hour and a half, and that's just me and my wife. That's just 2 people.
20 minutes per player. So.
Yeah, and I was like, I guess no discussion, just throwing cards back and forth, like a mad dash.
Yeah, the Star Wars one's gonna be cool. I can't wait for that.
They're gonna have a Star Wars one for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
It comes out August something. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometime in August.
Is it August? I just heard.
Yeah, you can be Ventress, Vader, Maul.
No Maul.
No, there's no Maul.
Grievous.
Yeah, Grievous.
Nope, no Maul. Grievous, Moff Gideon, and there's a
Kylo Ren. Right?
What?
Is it Kylo Ren?
Yeah, Kylo. Yeah. So if there's no Maul and Palpatine, it's like, well, there's definitely an expansion pack coming then, because they got to save some characters for the expansion.
Well, Palpatine can't lose.
Well, he did. I guess his objective would be not be thrown down a shaft of electricity. So
I guess he did lose twice. Yeah.
I mean, really,
he's coming back.
Really, the health and safety really was not really well thought out there for
you can just cheat in that game because you're like somehow Palpatine returned, and then you wouldn't die.
Oh, and Ricky on the board game. Do you know how I've been talking about Villainous and the game called Unmatched? You probably haven't looked that one up, but another game I just bought 5 boards of in the past week is called Unmatched, and that game is based off Star Wars Duels. So I don't know if anyone's ever played that. I mean, it's an old game.
Star Wars Duels. Only game I already played for Star Wars like that was the ones that used to come with the action figures. You remember the little cards that would come, and they had like numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be it.
I have a couple packs of those from Celebration.
Yeah, my daughter and I would play that because I'd buy the old figures that had the cards still in there. Like I think the episode, what ones had them in there? I don't know if they were with episode 1 cards, maybe. Yeah.
They're little teeny figures, aren't they? They're like almost micro.
No. They used to have the cards that came with action figures with the 3 3/4.
Action figures?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, there was little cards.
The one that I'm talking about is with micro figures, though, Marie, like you're talking about minifigs, like Dungeons and Dragons characters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's Unmatched is based completely off of that game, but they don't have a Star Wars license, so they can't make any characters. So I looked at that game online, and it's like $400 now, like Star Wars Duels. It's like impossible to find at a decent price. So if anybody has Star Wars Duels, I'll give you $5 for it.
I lost, by the way, Steven again. Or Ryan.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Were you Little John or King John?
Yeah, I was King John. I couldn't get any money.
Who'd you lose to?
My daughter. She won. She was Jafar.
What? Oh, really? I lost. Yeah. I got my butt, Jafar.
She just had to get the lamp. Like she somehow got like everybody like hypnotized. So,
yeah, Jafar's decent, but if that lamp's buried, you're really you have a long way to go.
It's because we started double teaming. My wife was Maleficent, and she almost won. So then we started focusing on her. Yeah.
No, we haven't played with Maleficent or the Queen of Hearts yet, so we'll probably do that next.
And those are the two my wife for. They're kind of the same. Those are the kind of same mechanic, those two. So.
Yeah, I've definitely lost them both. So the guy who's been watching videos and, I haven't been looking up any strategies because that's unfair. But, I've been looking at people playing in the cards. So I kind of know how most of the cards work already. And I got my butt kicked both time. I was King John and she was Ursula. Ooh. Yeah, Ursula. And I think by the time she won, I had like 5 gold. So at one point I got to the point I just only started bouncing between 2 places, the jail and the very first spot. So I would fate her 1 move, and then I would get 3 gold, and then I would fate her and get 3 gold. And I was like, oh my gosh, to heck with it. I'm just gonna try to win this game. But
no,
then
they had the King Richard hero card on me, so I couldn't use any event or any effects. So until I
that really messed me up too. I ended up with that one too because I had 2
I lost with like 12 coins, so it was pretty close.
I had like 5 because she kept pulling them fate cards where it's like this hero was going to take all your gold and you have to beat the hero. And I refused. After a while, I was like, I'm not going to spend any money except for moving back and forth between the jail because you can't stop me from getting 3 power. Well, then I found Peter Pan and I stacked him. So I don't know. Have you played with? No, she played with Hook. Have you played with Hook yet?
Yeah, that's the other one I played with.
Yeah, I found Peter Pan by accident for her, and I stacked him like he had 11 health. Like I put all these boosts and effects on him, but she just started piling up allies, and I couldn't use any effects. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. I got slaughtered. But I can't. I'm just building up for the Star Wars one, man. I'm going to.
I have literally no idea what you're talking about, but I just dropped in mid-conversation and heard somebody saying about I stacked Peter Pan and have you played Hook yet? I would wonder what the hell was going on.
He had so much fairy dust on him, I stacked him.
I know, they threw 2 fairy dust on my Peter Pan when I was hooked. It was so mad.
Yeah, I had another one, but she beat me. I was like, oh, dang.
Oh, we're such dorks.
But I'm just preparing for the Star Wars one, so... We can play. We can play it on Skype.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like I was watching a thing, and I guess there's a way you can play this game virtually. So I mean, once we get the Star Wars ones, that'd be pretty cool to do. I mean, what we can do with this one.
It depends how virtually, because I'm the type of person where I don't trust the computer to roll the dice, and I don't trust the computer to draw cards. Like I played Risk online.
No.
once.
I mean, like you can play somebody like with the webcam or something like that.
Okay, I played Risk online once.
You know,
I got terrible rolls, and I was like, I'm never trusting electronic dice again. And then I played D&D a couple days ago, and I got slaughtered in a dungeon because I just kept getting low rolls. And I was like, man, it's just not my week.
You play D&D online?
What?
You can play that online, Dungeons & Dragons?
No, I was playing that one with my wife and kids. So, but I was using hand dice then. So, and I was rolling. At least I could blame myself if I roll low. Actually, I blame the dice. Let's be honest here. It's an unlucky dice. So instead of blaming a computer,
I'm gonna have to get some sound bites of Ryan from this one because I got slaughtered in the dungeon. This is some fantastic stuff here. I tell you.
Once that released, I'm gonna pre-order it for sure. Hopefully, it's not too expensive because it's owned by Disney.
It's
but
probably going to be the same. I mean, I'm like I got this one for like what 30 after my I had like discounts and stuff. But all the expansions like are around the same price. I'm like, it's kind of weird. The expansions are like the same price as the base game. Pretty.
Oh yeah.
But it should be on pre-order already, right? Because it comes out in August. So.
I don't see it on Amazon, so it doesn't even come up.
The cover art looks really cool. It's Vader standing. Looks like Empire Strikes Back-ish.
Yeah, he's all shadowed out with the red saber. So, but yeah, maybe if anybody else gets it, we'll play. I don't know how to floating cameras. Yeah, I have a little. I guess a camera rig that I can attach my phone to. We can kind of see everyone's cards. The problem is drawing the fates, but you can just draw your own fates and show the camera.
Yeah, that's how we were playing too. We were just drawing our 2 cards and then they would pick them and then you put the other one back.
Yeah, but if we're playing over, Skype, we have to draw 2 cards and show the camera. Like,
show the camera.
When I draw your fate cards, and it sounds like the game's set up differently, so we're probably gonna have to learn new rules.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Okay, folks. Well, I think we've got a full complement here now. Ronald is here. Rom, let's just test your mic. Are you there, Rom? Hello, Rom.
Yeah. He's muted, so but
Rom, you're on mute.
He's gonna appear and turn around.
Not ruining your cat. I'll join him this computer soon. Huh?
The Windows Vista.
Skype update. Oh, God. All right, we'll have to wait a couple of minutes for one to boot up his 386 computer.
I'm just trying to get my voice to not sound like I just woke up. Far life.
Hey, look, look what I've got this week for me.
Did you just kill a Lego man? What was that?
It's my clappers.
Oh, your clappers.
Those clappers.
Those are vintage now, Steven.
Hey?
That was a clapper.
Those are vintage.
I thought he was clicking his pen.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. Yeah. I have no idea.
Did those come in like a Kinder Egg or something? How did you get those?
I can't remember. It was a stormtrooper. It was like a Kinder Egg, but twice the size of a Kinder Egg, and one was a stormtrooper head, and one was Darth Vader's head.
You guys can actually put the candies in, or the toys in the candy there.
Yeah, you open it out, and there was.
Did you know that's banned in America?
I heard, yes, yeah.
It is, yeah.
You don't want to choke on anything, but I had this conversation with another American friend. I was just saying that, it's all right to have guns, but don't get anybody choke on your toys.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what it is.
But that's because
we have like a Kinder. It's not called the Kinder Egg. I guess that's how they got around the band, because it's Kinder Egg. So now it's 2 eggs, but it's separated by like a piece of plastic, and you split the egg in half. So the top half is a little folding toy, and the bottom half is candy. So we just have to confuse not to eat the top half, which is not wrapped in anything. So,
how do you guys cope with ready meals? I don't know. I mean, do you just the people out there who just put the ready meal, just start eating it with the foil on and the lid and all that kind of stuff? So
everything cooks in 3 minutes in the microwave.
I don't know how you. I mean, how they think. I don't know. It's bizarre, isn't it? It really is bizarre. And so inside the Vader and Stormtrooper enlarged Kinder Egg size toys was some stickers, a little bit of candy, which I could eat in about one mouthful, and some clappers like this.
That sounds like something that would be in a Christmas cracker.
One's Boba Fett, the other one's Chewbacca.
I said that sounds like something that would be in a Christmas cracker.
Cracker Jacks, maybe. Yeah.
Honestly, I was so excited. I threw away the stickers and the candy sweets. These clappers are just,
What do you throw away Star Wars stickers for?
I didn't throw them away, but I was most excited by the clappers.
You made a whole video about them, remember?
I did record a video about the clappers. I have no idea what's happened to the Stormtrooper and Vader, the heads. I have no idea. I can't find them anywhere.
They fell on the Sarlacc.
Now I've started making a Star Wars shelf here now. Stuff that I forgot I had, and picking it up and putting it on the shelf. So I found I got my VHS set of Star Wars movies. I've got the DVD set and the Blu-ray set, which I've forgotten I had bought each version over the years.
No Laserdisc.
No Laserdisc. No. No Betamax.
That would be actually cool.
That thing's worth some money now.
That'd probably be worth something, yeah.
It's the only original version, like cleaned up copy you can find, I guess, is a Laserdisc. Oh man.
Ron, what are you doing? Skype is opening. Okay, so how's the weather over there, folks?
It's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot.
And then as soon as I started cooking outside yesterday, like a storm came, so that was fun. It's monsoon season now. It's like monsoon season all summer now. So it used to only be in August, but now it's like every day. Lots of dust and wind.
Yeah, it's hot and dry here, and I think there might be a fire somewhere because my asthma is going crazy, and it's super, super dry at night.
Yeah, you have a fire season there, don't you?
Yeah, it's fire season now.
Fire season.
There was a big one the other day, a little west of here. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's one today somewhere close to here.
I remember when I went we went to the Mickey, drove out to Anaheim, and we went to the Disneyland Mickey Halloween party, and there was like a huge fire in Anaheim, there, and so we stopped at the hotel, it totally smelled like smoke. It was awful, and the sky was all orange everywhere, and then we even saw the hills on fire when we drove in there. And then so when we were at the Mickey's Halloween party, it looked like Maleficent was just taking over the park, because everything was dark and red, and it was crazy.
Was that 2018, 2019?
Yeah, it would have been.
That's about the time that those wildfires got really bad.
Yeah, we were there.
The sky was the sky was orange for weeks.
Yeah. You could smell it in the park too. It would smell like something was burning.
Yeah, you could smell. You could smell it everywhere. It was all up and down California. California was completely on fire. 20, 30 miles from me was on fire. The entire state was up in flames. You could not breathe.
It was crazy driving in there. There's a little hilly area before, on the way there, and everything was just on fire on one side. The other side was just scorched. It looked crazy. If like if a UFO landed or something like that. It was crazy.
Yep.
Okay. Just get my water bottle.